So, just coming into this, I've always liked Ian. I've had Ian on my podcast before. I like iDubbbz. I've also liked Ethan. I've been friendly with Ethan. I would even say that I'm still kind of... I would consider myself friendly with Ethan. I don't know if he'd say the same thing about me. So, like, I'm coming at this, as usual, from the most neutral perspective possible. And there's been a lot of conversation about this. I usually give these videos a couple of days to go through. And we're going to find out what's going on.
Destination, the beach is surprisingly dangerous. Consider the
fucking thing in our defense. Like, actually, Hila's not a baby killer. Actually, accusing Ethan of killing his dog is maybe too far.
Yeah.
Because they have mobilized such an insane harassment group that anybody who says any fucking thing, they will attempt to ruin their lives. And once again, I'm the crazy one. It's not bad enough that I have this.
What we do here is go back.
Oh, shit. Oh. Bringing it way back. I'll turn it down. Uh-oh. Oh. He got that shit on. Nice. Yep. That's good. This is a pretty funny intro. It's all right.
What's up, everybody? I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the Hassan broadcast coming to you live from a cloudy day here in California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic one because today's a beautiful day. I have a very important announcement. I finally done it. I watched Ethan Klein's content nuke, and I'm not going to call it context puke as I normally do because
He did.
The reality of the matter is it was brilliant. Nothing was out of context. Everything was correct. I am an Islamist, fundamentalist, radical terrorist. I am a vicious anti-Semite. It's true. Most importantly, Ethan is more attractive than me, both physically and also mentally. I've been lying about everything, including my glasses. They're fake. He was right about that. That's not even in the content nuke. And he was right about that too. How did he know everything? How? Wake up, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Ethan, wake up.
Wakey, wakey, Ethan. Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Oh.
Time to be awake, Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
This is no longer a dream. This is a nightmare. Wake up.
Ethan, the dumb bitch is telling you to wake up.
Wake up.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up, Ethan.
Ethan, wake up.
Wake up.
Since anyone?
Just wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up.
Wake up. Wake up, Ethan.
I'm not going to do a react content yet, chat.
I'm listening. Nobody's telling you to wake up, Ethan.
Ooh, yummy. I
Did
love
they make fake chats for this? Because I assume they recorded this off stream, right? So the chat had to be fake? Okay, that's what I thought, because I was just curious. Okay.
Stop Ramos.
Wake up, Ethan. Wake up.
Ethan.
Wake up, Ethan.
Wake up.
Wake up, Ethan. Just wake up.
Yeah, this is worse than I thought it was going to be. I think that it was definitely a huge credibility error. Like, I didn't know, but I think that, like, when you're assigning yourself, like, he could have gone on and made this video and say Ethan's a fucking idiot and all these things that he did are bad and Ethan's awful, etc. You didn't need to go and do the conga dance with Frogan to make that happen. This is such a huge unforced error. You did not need to do this. all it does is it pollutes the video that you're doing, because like Frogan, Denims, Sean, Hassan all have their own little dramas, right? They have their own little problems, their own little dramas. And because of that, now you are, if you're doing this with them, basically approving this. And I forgot who said this, but somebody said that this is the kind of stuff that iDubbbz used to probably make. iDubbbz would have made a content cop about this content cop 10 years ago. I never really watched a lot of these in the past. I saw like maybe half of one of them, but it sure seems like that's the case. XQC said that? Yeah. You didn't need to do that. And I think that, like, basically he effectively poisoned the well for his entire video by taking a side with a bunch of content creators that are overwhelmingly hated by the internet. Like, Hassan has a really big fan base, so at least that one kind of makes sense. But Frogan, Sean, and Denims, everybody hates them. Like, for every one person that likes them, there's 100 people that hate them. Huge mistake to put yourself on their side. And you didn't need to do that to criticize Ethan. Anyway. Nice.
All right. I didn't plan on making a content cop on H3. It sounds very stupid even saying that. H3 content cop, iDubbbz. Ethan Klein's out of control. And then you should do a content cop on Hassan Piker.
Oh.
Content cop on Sargon of Akkad. If I would imagine this...
What about me?
In 2016, I would have been like, oh yeah, if I ever do that, it's gotta be because I lose the plot. Well, it turns out it's not me losing the plot. It's Ethan. He's the one who fucking attacked first.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
All right, guys, I'm going to tell you a story about Ethan.
Were they talking about iDubbbz? I don't even know. Also, like, Ethan can't expect everybody to go out and defend him. I think that's true. Like, you can't expect other people to fight your battles. Sure.
Fine. I know some of you have been following him, but there's a lot of people who might not be familiar with the background, with his podcast, with what's been going on over the past couple of years.
I've seen that.
So Ethan, as you know, is a content creator who has a podcast where he says all sorts of outrageous stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's fucked up. He's had shows with all sorts of different controversial characters. He's had a show with Trisha Paytas. He's had a show with Hassan Piker. In doing so, he's gathered a ton of different audiences. Now, in his podcast with Hassan, Leftovers, they would mostly talk about surface level progressive shit and make fun of right-wingers.
And you're telling me he didn't flick their dick once at least?
Oh, that's 100 shavers. You trans women. I say, oh no!
And it was mostly that until they actually had to reckon with a very serious topic. I would say that Hassan was very well equipped to talk about that topic.
Palestinian people living in the West Bank are subject to these horrific conditions, horrific living conditions by the state of Israel, America's greatest ally and the only democracy in the Middle East, if you ask Republicans and even liberals.
Well, the dance he invented was so kick-ass.
Israeli settlers are trying to evict Palestinian families in occupied East Jerusalem. The United Nations says that that may be a war crime. It literally is.
I was just eating the toppings, and the pizza looked like a burn victim. It was all disgusting.
I don't know if you can make that joke in 2021.
Why?
It's insensitive to burn victims.
I think it's a good analogy. It's a powerful image.
Ethan was not prepared for this. Ethan, the whole time, is more...
I don't think that you need to be a political analyst to look at what happened on October 7th and say that it was bad and the people that did it are bad. Like, I actually think that this point kind of in a lot of ways works against Hassan, is that if you're spending this much time understanding the dichotomy of this and like all of the nuance, how do you still come out on the side talking about how the prisoners liked Hamas because they were kissing them? Like, if you're this intimately informed about it, how do you come out with that conclusion? So I don't understand that. Of course not, right? Of fucking course not.
Of the goof guy, and that's fine. You know, we don't expect Ethan to be an expert on
like,
the topic.
how is it that the goof guy can see that there's something that's clearly wrong here, but Hassan's not able to? I think he can. Like, I'm again, like, I'm not a big fan of Israel, but I'm not a big fan of Hamas either. And I think, by the way, that's the way a lot of people feel. Like, I think that 80% of people think, I don't know, I'm making up, to be fair, I'm making up a number, but I think that a huge amount of people feel like, yes, obviously Israel is bad, but also so are Hamas. Like, both of these groups are bad. I think that there's a growing American sentiment that why are we funding Israel when it seems like Israel is engaging in aggressive military action? I think that there's a lot of people that feel that way. You don't have to be on one side. You can have a measured opinion on this that's reasonable. And I think that it goes to show that all of these people that are so politically minded are so radicalized in one direction. I think that actually goes to show how much of a rot that this is. Because when you approach this with a normal person is not going to look at a raid on innocent civilians where they get captured and killed. And there's no other side to this to an average person. Average people don't see this as like, oh, well, it's justified, because it's just not. It's not justified in any capacity at all. And I understand Israel did things that are bad, and that's the same thing I was just saying. You're absolutely right. They're both bad. But you can't say because they did something bad that it's okay to target, kill, and kidnap civilians. This is... by the way, am I... do you guys feel the same way? Am I the only person? Because I feel like this is the common sense take to have. This fucking obviously. This is the do you like waffles so you hate pancakes? Exactly, yes. You don't have to do this. You don't... This was never necessary. This isn't even about iDubbbz's perspective, but my point is that I think that the framing of Ethan as being just like the funny, stupid fat guy, I don't think that it really achieves the goal that he thinks it does. Personally.
Ethan was obviously caught in this tricky situation where he is extremely sympathetic to the Israeli cause and what's happening to them. His wife's Israeli. She served in the IDF. He obviously likes the state of Israel. On the other hand...
It's important to keep in mind that serving in the IDF is a requirement in Israel. Like, I think that whenever you bring this up as an indicator of, like, determining whether a person is a fan of Israel or not, I think that it's disingenuous not to contextualize it for average people, because many people don't know this, but there is mandatory IDF, Israeli Defense Force service, for both men and women who are Israeli citizens. It's 3 years for men and 2 years for women. So this is like criticizing a person in America for signing up for the draft. Finland does it too? Yeah, it's quite common in multiple countries.
He's just got done capturing a massive progressive audience who are very politically
How is he criticized? Well, the reason why I think it's important to say that is because to say that a person served in the army without contextualizing it around it being mandatory service, I think gives the impression that a person served in the army because they supported the army, which is not always true. And so I think it's misleading.
They follow Hassan. Hassan is strictly a political streamer. So this is something they're
No, he's not. He's played Assassin's Creed Shadows, and he played Marvel Rivals. That's not true.
very keyed into. So when they see Ethan say things that are just like not accurate and it's just propaganda, they're going to call it out.
From the river to the sea essentially means the state of Israel is going bye-bye.
So this massive progressive audience that...
And the thing is that I remember Hassan, I asked Hassan that myself because I looked at the map and it's like, well, how could Israel exist if you say from the river to the sea? And he doesn't feel like it's a genocidal thing. And it's hard to say. I mean, I think that some people say it with that in mind of getting rid of Israel. Maybe other people don't. It's a pretty sticky subject, right? And I wouldn't go like, I think it probably is. It's like one of these sayings that has a different meaning for different people, right? And this is, by the way, the most generous and the most like positive approach that I can have to it.
Ethan has, adopted over the years. They're becoming increasingly critical of his position because now he's talking about it, not on Leftovers. He's now talking about it on his podcast.
What I want to do is show you guys how I see Israel, because you don't see that. When you listen to Hassan and you hear all these fucking mega lefties talking about it like it's some super racist, crazy, like Jim Crow style of society. Like, I can't wait to show you guys.
The other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed.
I think that Ethan probably shouldn't have gone super hard on this and talk about the Israel-Palestine stuff unless he wanted to, like, super involve himself with it. Because, I mean, the reality is that, I mean, it's not really his war. He's not, I mean, like, I think that it's important, like, everybody should do what they want to do, but he didn't need to go this far, like, defending Israel. He definitely didn't need to.
So Ethan is having this back and forth with his liberal audience, leftist people.
I understand. He lived there. His wife's Israeli, and he's Jewish. I understand that there's a degree of solidarity that he may feel. I'm just saying that I don't think that acting on that feeling was beneficial for him.
Online, progressive content creators, Hassan, all of these different people. He's finding new people every day, basically, to get in fights with.
Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, Frogan and Denims and all these dipshits, and everybody thinks this guy's awesome, apparently.
I don't know.
Even though he looks like Milhouse, fucking dork. Denims, by the way, was the real villain of the video.
To be fair, he does look like Milhouse. I don't hate this guy. I don't even know this guy, but he does kind of look like Milhouse. He does. It's fucking funny.
Evil, hateful fucking...
Yeah.
And I'll say it and I'll double down on it. And people... Oh, no? Did I not go there?
And it's all culminated, at least for my story.
I think that there's a degree of... This is criticism for Ethan, is that I think almost all of his negative moments came out of live streaming. And I think that we've seen this be a pretty common thread with a lot of content creators that were on YouTube. And I think that you can look at it with Boogie as well, too. Almost all of the Boogie crash outs and the Boogie bad moments were actually live streams and not YouTube videos. And I think that a lot of people that make content online aren't really familiar with like what the foundation is for building a career live streaming. And so they're not used to the idea that their extemporaneous train of thought that they're just having and talking could be recorded and held against them in the future because they're used to editing that part out. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty big difference.
And Ethan burning bridges with people until he burned the bridge with me. Since Ethan and Hassan's falling out, I've been keeping to myself mostly. I don't have many nice things to say. Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things.
I think this is an unfair framing because other creators have also harassed Ethan. And I don't think that it's fair for people to say that Ethan has been harassing other creators when other creators have been hand-waving or in some cases passively encouraging people calling CPS on Ethan as well. I feel like this is a very one-sided thing. And like I understand, like, and I'm sure Ethan has said things that he shouldn't have said towards people like Frogan and Denims, and I think that's worthy of criticism. But to frame it as if it's Ethan harassing them is, I think, unfair. I think it's very much, it's not a harassment, this is a fight.
Eventually he'll find peace and we can like rekindle our friendship. So that's been my approach. I've occasionally thrown a joke Ethan's way in the form of Hassan Piker versus Ethan Klein for boxing.
I like iDubbbz. He's a good guy, but I don't like this stupid. It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. And also he's way out of my weight class.
He didn't like that, but fucking...
This is a situation where, like, I like, it's obviously a joke, right? It's just a joke. I mean, it's not a big deal. I think Ethan's taking it a bit too seriously.
Sometimes you gotta just throw something out
just
there.
It's just a joke.
I used to work with this video editor named Froggy Tonic.
To be fair, I mean, Hassan, when people made a joke about him boxing Sam Hyde, had a very similar response.
I discovered him because he was in the circles online that I was in. And one of those circles is an H3 fan. He watched Ethan's content. He liked Ethan's content until he didn't like Ethan's content. There would be an occasional froggy tweet where I'd be like, I agree with that. You know, like, I'm not going to endorse it. I'm not going to retweet it or like it, but fair enough.
I guess I just missed my old friend. Some wings are too bird feathered colored.
Now that brings us...
What?
To February 20.
What I saw is that Ethan is very much prone to anxiety and stress, and having loads of people on his head was a lot. He didn't leave his room for self-questioning instead of going to instant defense mode and challenge too much of his belief and experience. Yeah, this kind of goes into what I was saying, is that I think that if Ethan never live streamed, I think that 95% of his problems would not exist.
28th of this year. Now, my former editor of a year and a half ago did say some truly mean shit. He called Hila the C word.
How do you think you're more above all of us? Get going. It's, the Palestinians will hate Jews. You know that. You
said they're trying to kill their dog with cheddar cheese.
2 years before Ethan's dog death, some H3 fans voiced concerns, chronic vomiting, pointing to Kelly Vernon got shunned by the viewers. I don't know.
Bunch of other shit, I'm sure. Ethan, at some point...
This is like, in my, like, this is the kind of stuff that, like, I hate this about the internet. Like, people just get so personal and so invested. Like, this is just, to me, it's just so caustic and negative and weird. I wish we could just go back to not dealing with this. It's so boring and so weird.
Discovers that iDubbbz's former editor says this horrendous shit about him and Hila. But no one's asking the question,
I don't think that it's iDubbbz's fault that he's employing somebody that says something bad about somebody else. Like, for example, like my mods talk shit about me. I don't care what the fuck they say. They can say whatever the hell they want. I don't own them. Who cares? Yeah, I mean, that's not Ian's fault. Ian didn't do that.
Where does Ethan get this information from? You see, it would be very obviously a problem if Ethan was discovering this content by scrolling through Twitter looking for something to upset himself with. He has maybe set it up in such a way where his employees feel the need to send him this information. And that would be horrible. They shouldn't be doing that. They should be sending you things that are entertaining for your show that don't fucking trigger the hell out of you. Why is there so much work being put into discovering this guy on Twitter who's barely getting any interactions, linking him to me and posting on the Reddit when there's no work being put into who the fuck is the person?
Yeah, this is not even Ethan. I thought this video was about Ethan. Who cares? Icarus drowned? Who gives a fuck about Icarus drowned? It's some random Redditor. Why are we looking at a random Reddit post complaining about your editor? Like, who cares? Why does anybody care about this?
On the Reddit who's posting this in the first place. If you do a little bit of research, it seems like it's an account whose intention is to make Ethan crash out. One of the users on the Snark Reddit points this out. They're like, I've seen this account before. This account has scraped its history and it's now trying to make Ethan burn bridges. This is within Ethan's own community.
This is so stupid. This whole thing is so stupid to me. Oh my god. How did we get here? It seems ironic, but, you know, considering the events of today, but Destiny was right. It was so much better when people just said the N-word. When Ian was just calling people the N-word and doing these content cops. It was so much better.
Like, this is the thing that he needs to be critical of. It's not me. So yes, I am willing to admit that my former editor was being very nasty, uncharitable,
Who cares?
and fucked up towards Ethan and
you.
Hila on Twitter. But
it's not your responsibility.
Ethan and Hila are doing the same shit on their podcast. So I don't want to fucking hear it.
Terrorist supporter.
The CEO of Twitch.
Pedophile.
Hassan said that he supported a guy that was a self-proclaimed member of the Houthis, and Houthis are designated as a terrorist organization. He said, "We support you." This is an objective fact. There's not any debate to this. You can just look at the video. Really, like, I think calling Dan Clancy a pedophile is totally overboard. Ethan should not have said that. That's outrageous. Again, I think that, like, you know, the same way I'm criticizing Ethan right now is the same thing I said about Hassan earlier. You don't make accusations like that unless you have concrete proof. He should have never said that. Ethan should have never said that. He said it was a joke. Maybe it was, but I'm just saying that, you know, that's it.
Now I'm going to watch and respond to the 2 podcast streams where Ethan and Hila call us spineless cowards.
Anyway, this guy was saying shit like that Hila's a Nazi, that she kills kids, that she went on like, she's a IDF baby killer, all this types of shit. And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and IDub's feed. My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
You don't know what's on my feed. What the fuck is...
I actually agree with iDubbbz. I agree with Ian here. I think that it's unfair for Ethan to expect iDubbbz to go out of his way to fight for Ethan. And I know Ethan feels like he's being personally attacked, but I don't think that that's fair to, like, get mad at somebody for not enlisting themselves in your defense.
Is happening? For all you know, I only use the For You tab. For all you know, I only use lists. For all you know, I'm seeing these things tweeted out by my editor of a year and a half ago.
Well, it's weird. Like, I mean, am I the only person that, like, I mean, I follow Nick Fuentes, I follow Bernie Sanders, I follow AOC, I follow Sam Hyde, I follow tons of people on social media. Why? To keep up with what they're doing, because I think that they're interesting and they're persuasive, and I think that they're impactful in the current discourse. Yeah, that's the reason why. Am I the only person that's like this? I feel like a lot of you guys are probably like this, right? Yeah, it's. Do you follow Joe Rogan? Yeah, I follow Joe Rogan. Sure. Follow Hassan too. I don't know. I don't even think this is a big, it's just like, this is, bro, this is like high school girl stuff. Like, you're following somebody. This is like, I remember in like middle school and high school, it was like, you know, top 8 MySpace stuff. Like, it's just, it's just so meaningless. And it's just, oh.
And saying, God, that is nasty. I'm just not going to throw someone away because they're having a parasocial weird moment. Just like I'm not going to throw Ethan Klein away because he's having a parasocial weird crash out.
How many women I fucked? Hassan, by the way, thousands. Yeah, thousands. Let me ask Galia. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Hassan's the type of dude who watches himself in the mirror when he has sex.
Watching me on a 30-second delay on your stream.
Wait, that's what wait, how does he know I'm watching already?
Because you've been talking about it for the last 5 minutes.
It's not a fucking petty beef. It's like...
It's so funny as an outsider, but still somebody who knows the people involved, to watch Destiny, Ethan, and Hassan go at it. And, like, they're talking about each other and watching each other and, like, getting mad at each other and then simultaneously saying that they're not watching each other at the same. It's so fucking funny. It is. It's so stupid. Like, when Destiny pulled up Hassan's stream and Hassan was, like, immediately talking about Destiny. I'm sorry. It's fucking ridiculous.
this guy is evil and he's doing anti-Semitism. These shoes do not go. I'm sorry.
There are many people, I'm sure, who have unfollowed you for the things that you have said and done, and I'm sure there are even more people who have stayed following you because they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. They don't want to throw someone away because they've had some hard moments. We're all fucking human.
My good fucking friends who I stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up. You know why? Because they'll get murdered.
And what you're saying to me is that I'm a bad friend and I'm a piece of shit. I'm spineless. I'm cowardly because I am following someone on Twitter.
Because they have
I agree with Ian here. I do, actually. I think that Ethan is crashing out and he's getting overly defensive and he's putting too much imposition on Ian. I do. I agree with him. Like I've been attacked a lot on social media, and I've never like Ethan gets attacked a lot. Every single day almost. There's another thread that has 100,000 likes and millions of views that's about me. People are always talking about me. I've even told my friends. I said, guys, you don't need to defend me. You don't need to say anything about me. We're boys. I know what it's like to be in the trenches. You don't. Stay out of the trenches. That's how I am. People can have opinions. Yeah, exactly. I can think Ian's being a little bitch with the video. I just think it's being honest, right? The other day I pointed out, I'm a Nazi because you follow me, but only sees you follow me because he follows you. Yeah, of course. There you go. Imagine when your boys leave the trenches. Yeah, people just don't want to deal with that, right? I mean, that's it. I don't know. I fight my own battles. That's it. I don't need anybody to fight for me or push for me or anything like that, especially not other creators. I know how it is. I know people can't deal with that. It's okay.
Mobilized such an insane harassment group. It's not bad enough that I have this group of people harassing me and everyone in my life. It's that people outside of this group, journalists, creators, are actively participating in this gaslighting to make it seem like I'm fucking crazy.
I mean, I don't know what he's getting at here. Yeah, people are gaslighting you. A lot of people gaslit me when I apologized. That was actually the #1 type of harassment I got.
I do think that it is a little bit problematic that there does seem to be a lot of journalists that do glaze Hassan, and it does seem like the way that they treat him is inauthentic. And it's too much fanboy or fangirly, for sure. And I think it looks very insincere.
Was people gaslighting me and taking my newfound woke ideology to its extreme.
I've probably done and stood by iDubbbz and Anissa more than anybody. I've stood by them when all the internet hated them.
I don't like that Ethan brought this up because it makes the relationship feel very transactional.
Yeah.
We're just meant to support each other online despite our own personal morals or principles.
But I'll say this, I don't think they're fucking any friends of mine. And certainly I don't think they're any fucking friends of mine based on the text conversation I had with them too before
I just think that really, I mean, if you're having an anxiety or Tourette's thing with your hand, I think that's what's going on here. I don't really know. I just think that this is the last time that you should be giving statements and talking about stuff like this. I've always found that when I'm in an emotional state and I'm in a situation where I'm stressed out, I never want to act on that and act when I'm in that state.
Talked about it. So I have nothing. I don't need any fucking halfway friends.
Stop immediately.
I thought the text conversation that I had with him was very empathetic. I basically just said, I know you and Hila are experiencing a ton of harassment. And I essentially empathize with that. And I think there's something positive to get out of the conversation. But he refused to talk on the phone unless I was willing to publicly say something about my former editor and denims. As much as you don't want halfway friends, I also don't want that kind of halfway.
I agree with Ian on this too. I can see where Ethan is coming from, and I can see why he's frustrated. And I think that I don't think that his feelings are wrong. But I think that when those feelings come with an obligation of behavior by another person, that imposition is unfair.
Friend, I don't want someone who's going to give me like an
You're agreeing
ultimate.
with the literal Nazi? Oh, welcome to the show. Is it your first day?
Freedom to have a conversation.
Could you not say something when this is like, imagine like one of you guys is like, Hassan actually wants to go to Israel, go to Gaza so he can strangle Israeli babies or some shit like that. I'd be like, you imagine me not saying something.
You're trying to make a one-to-one comparison where there isn't one. This guy that I follow on Twitter is not in the same relationship as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you
I thought the person was an editor. I thought I thought the person he followed on Twitter was his editor. Did I misunderstand this? It's an ex-editor. Okay, so they were both employees then, right? But it's just that this one currently isn't. Okay.
as you and one of your current employees who is streaming with you 3 days a week, 3 hours a day for the past 10 years. At one point during the stream, Ethan and Hila bring up Adam McIntyre. Now, Adam does basically the same thing as my former editor. He's critical of Ethan and Hila, and he is sometimes uncharitable and nasty towards them.
Well, this is, I mean, like these comments here, right? Such a crazy fucking woman, my God. Hila Klein is very dangerous and crooked woman. I mean, by the way, 3,000 likes. Or sorry, 3,000 views. Not even likes. Nobody cares. Nobody cared what this guy said. It doesn't really matter. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, are we really getting bent out of shape about a tweet that has 3,000 likes? Who cares? It's just some random idiot. Like, I'm friends with tons of people that are friends with people that don't like me. I don't know. Like, maybe I went to, like, a working class, like, very super diverse, multiracial school. And so, like, to me, the idea of making sure that everybody that you know is congruent with everybody that you know that's congruent with everybody that you know, that's just, like, a very foreign concept to me. And I just don't really... I don't think about things that way. And when I hear people that are like advocating and arguing by this kind of stuff, it just is completely out of left field to me. I don't understand it.
Nasty towards them.
Adam
Like,
McIntyre.
just in general, I'll just say it. The only people that I know that have tried to enforce things like that on me are mentally ill women.
It needs to just like disappear. That guy is a piece of shit, like of the lowest order. I never even stood by him when he talked bad about Trisha having a kid and called him like the spawn of Satan. He was supposedly on our...
He shouldn't be saying that. He's a fucking asshole for saying that. Like, I mean, yeah, for sure. It's so weird saying that. It's a baby.
Side, I would never even co-sign that. I was disgusted by that statement too. I remember when he called her kid the spawn of Satan.
I never said anything
And
like
I was
that.
supposed to be like cheering on, but I wasn't going to cheer that on. That's disgusting.
Why do we forget that he called her children, which is something we would never do, the spawn of Satan?
It's disgusting.
And I mean,
I don't know if it's that big of a thing, because like I don't really know, like I don't know the guy, because like he could be like halfway memeing, like I just don't know, but like I just
it's just incredible who ends up being the good guys in this story. You know, it's really something.
Unfortunately, they never made a statement. They never said that they disagree with his statements about Trisha's baby until it's useful. Like, what is it, 3 years later? Like, I mean, you're talking about it like you were aware of it at the time and that there was some amount of pressure or enthusiasm for you to get down with that. And what it sounds like to me is that you did see it at the time and you were like, ooh, I don't like that. And you didn't endorse it and you didn't fuck with it.
It's just like, holy fuck, man. Like, really, like... Bro, we're gonna play Lords of the Fallen after this.
With it. It's almost like that is a fucking identical situation to me.
Like, I remember, like, there's been guild drama between teenagers that I've mitigated that's had more substance than this. Well, he said that, like, I wasn't on the top of the meter, but if you look at the logs, he was beating me because he was overhealing. And if you look at that, and do you remember how he got the helmet before me? Well, of course he's going to do more than I am because he got his set bonus and I don't have my set bonus. And so now I'm in a situation where he's laughing at me and he's linking me healing meters, and I'm behind, but I'm behind because he made me behind. Because we had a healing assignment and he gave himself the healing assignment that's going to give him more healing effectively, and now he wants you to give him. And I'm just sitting here, bro. And I'm just sitting here and I'm saying, oh my God. I need to start playing single player games again.
Incredible who ends up being the
Holy
good guys
fuck.
in this story.
Okay.
You know, it's really something.
So yeah, the reason I'm bringing this up is because they're trying to like paint themselves as the good guys, and they're saying like, yeah,
The good guys. I always hate this. I hate it.
we strongly disavow things that are said, even about our enemies. We are the most immoral people on the internet.
Well, that's a lie because I am, number one. So obviously Ethan isn't because I'm here. But maybe Ethan is like maybe third or fourth. Number one would be Asmongold. Number two would be Zach Rar. Maybe number three could be Ethan. I don't know. Probably
Unlike
not.
Ian and Anissa, who are fucking keeping to themselves. Also, why the fuck does Olivia get the pass?
What a fucking asshole for putting you in that position, Olivia. You're friends with him. And you don't have to say anything, but like, what a fucking piece of shit. What a bad friend to put you in that position just for some fucking clout. It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit, okay? Olivia did not do anything. And
I want the pass. Do I have to be an employee to get that treatment? Because then you'll just see me as an ally? Or is it
This video seems like it should have been a private conversation.
because Ethan is afraid of wrongful termination accusations and lawsuits?
And also, I don't mind putting my friend Olivia, who's apparently my real friend, in a terribly weird, fucking uncomfortable situation where you end up getting hate for no reason.
This is
Also, don't frame
this is
it
a
as
lot
like,
more personal than I thought it was going to be.
like other people making it hard on
I
Olivia.
think that the reason why a lot of people are not liking this video is because this isn't really a content cop on H3H3. This is drama between H3H3 and iDubbbz. Like for example, like the Leafy stuff and like the Keemstar stuff back in the day, this was like a criticism of their content specifically, right? Like in no point, like we're 18 minutes into the video now, has there been any criticism made of Ethan's actual content? This is purely a personal dispute between two creators, which is a very big difference than what the content cops used to be. Do you see kind of what I'm saying?
You're making it hard on all of these people. Please acknowledge your role in this whole fucking thing. Like, it's crazy how warm Ethan is to Olivia and saying how Olivia is essentially just a victim in this whole thing.
It gets people angry at you, like, oh, how can she be friends with him? Which is total bullshit.
But me and Anissa are spineless. Ethan, your whole system is scrambled. My intention isn't to throw the employees under the bus like you guys.
I don't know who Olivia is either. I don't know. I'm sure it's one of their employees, I think.
Serve as the fucking foundation for calling out Ethan's hypocrisy on the whole subject. And I know that you guys have probably pushed back against Ethan over the years. How often are you supposed to do that? Do you have to do that every fucking week? It kind of seems like it. And that's exhausting. I don't want to confront my boss. It's not my fucking job to confront my boss and say, today's segment on rapists and pedophiles on Twitch was not like my favorite segment to be a part of.
Yeah, friends like these.
Oh, yeah.
I actually think that you can cultivate a relationship with employees that they can communicate that kind of stuff to you. And I think that obviously there's going to be a degree of trepidation, but every good manager and every good person inside of a leadership position should strive to create an environment where employees and the people that work underneath you, management, that's a Pokemon actually, where they can just be direct and tell you, hey, we didn't like this. This was garbage. I think it's super important to have that. And if you don't have that, you're really, because like a lot of those people, those are your, in a lot of ways, like your biggest fans, and they're the biggest consumers of your content because they help you make it, right?
They're good friends.
Yeah.
Anissa and Ian. Thanks, Anissa, for standing up for your girl. I actually stood up for you so many times because, like, why would I not? It was crazy.
Yeah,
Super
why would you
personal.
not? I mean, if that's truly what you believed and you weren't just going to use it later.
Of course I was going to stand by you. That's insane. It's absolutely insane and disgusting.
I think that Ian is right in calling out the seemingly transactional relationship that it seemed to him that Ethan and Gila had with Ian. That basically the transaction was, we're going to defend you, and so you have to defend us. I think that that's an unfair relationship because it's always asymmetrical. Like, but this is like, again, like, I feel like this is couples therapy, right? Oh my God, who gives a fuck? Well, I mean, you know.
But now you choose to hang out with people that would have a problem with you if you defended me.
I'm not going to assume that Hila knows, but I'll say it for anyone who doesn't know. Anissa is half Lebanese and half Irish. For anyone unfamiliar, the Irish have been on the receiving end of a lot of oppression and genocide.
potatoes.
On the part of the Lebanese, they've received a lot of oppression and attacks from the IDF. So Anissa is very well familiar with the propaganda and the shit coming out of Israel. Choosing now, out of all the times, to be like, please defend me. No, we're not going to fucking defend you.
Rudy was saying that Palestinians are
I don't know.
taught at 2 years old to kill Americans.
Do we have that
I
one?
mean,
Like,
just the other day, BB fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about.
He looked mean. I thought he was mean just because he looked mean.
No, it's not.
So yes, you caught us. We're not going to run to your defense when, I don't know, we follow people. We be following. That's one fucked up thing that you can say about Anissa and I is when we're on Twitter, we do be following.
So,
The problem.
okay, if you want to hang out with those people and have no spine and not stand up for another girl that stood up for you, enjoy your new friends.
She's friends with people like Denims.
I know,
in her chat,
yeah,
Which I'll
she's
show.
friends with
Denims
Denim.
is actually participating in this whole child protective service lie.
Yeah,
Which I'll
and if
show you
your
guys.
friend,
And he's right. He's right about this. Denims should not be saying that. Denims goes over the line with shit that she says all the time. And if she was more popular, she would get way more in trouble. I don't know why she does that. I've never spoken to Denims privately, ever. I don't know what she's like. But one thing that I've noticed with a lot of these people is that I bet if I talked with her, everything would be fine and there wouldn't be any issues. A lot of these people get on their computer, they get on the internet, they go on their stream, and they turn into psychos. And I've seen this happen like hundreds of times. Literally, it's so common. Literally, you? No. Ask my friends that know me in real life. I'm an asshole off stream too. No, Well, I'm never an asshole to anybody, but I'm just a general asshole. I've never been rude, and I'll throw down the gauntlet. Anybody who's ever had a bad experience or seen me be rude to somebody in public, you can say what it is. But you won't because it doesn't happen and it doesn't exist. That's just not how I am.
with them, then you're seeing what they're saying.
You'll notice that Ethan and Hila start talking about this Denims character. Originally, the complaint was about my former editor. He's been chatting shit about Ethan and Hila for the past year at least. They only care about it now because I guess it was spoon-fed to them via their Reddit that's clearly looking out for them. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. We are friends with Denims, but I would say it's the same level of friendship that we had with Ethan and Hila. It's like kind of an internet friendship. We think that...
They're colleagues. Yeah, of course. Yeah, they work in the same industry, so they're friendly with each other. That's normal. That's fine.
She's a good person like we think Ethan and Hila are good people. kind of a tricky situation. How can you possibly think that they're both good people at their core? People can have crash out moments. People can say things that they don't mean. People can say things because they want internet clout and attention. I don't know, I think they're both probably guilty of saying things that they don't mean for internet clout and attention. Right now, one's a little bit more...
I'm gonna be honest. I wish that we got this energy from Ian for the entire video. Because this is the one thing that I completely, unequivocally agree with him with. He's completely right about this. And I think that everybody needs to just completely turn down the temperature with this stuff. It's insane. Because, yeah, like... I could go through, I'm thinking about, you know what, maybe I should make a video myself about this whole problem. Because, like, I've seen this evolve over the years, and I think that it's kind of at a fever pitch right now. No, not about this particularly. Why would I make a video about this? My point is, it's about the behavior and, like, the underlying behavior behind it.
Fucking nasty to me than the other.
I just don't see how you can be
totally
my
agree with
friend
Ian
and
on
also
that.
be friends with someone like that.
Well, you can't. So I already forgot about you.
I actually have a lot of friendships that are kind of that way, where it's like, you know, one of the friends doesn't fuck with the other friend, but there is someone in the middle who kind of fucks with both of them, but separately. Yeah, there's a lot of friendships that are like that. I'm not gonna make you guys like meet up and kiss.
People do that with me and Hassan with Nick. Like, Nick's friends with Hassan and Nick's friends with me. I'd never make Nick choose. He's a grown-ass man. He can interact with and deal with who he wants. Like, that's just so, like, yeah, I would never think like that. That's weird.
Or anything. I get it. You guys are in fucking... You're either my best friend who's deep-throating me to the base of my cock, or you are Satan. You're the devil.
The last thing I said to Anissa, we were texting before I ever talked about it. She's like, I don't care about this guy. He's a nobody and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, then you'll have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? And then from there, the conversation ended.
She never replied.
Ethan, you can't even phrase it in a way that doesn't make you sound like you're being coercive and shitty. Well, then, you should have no problem publicly denouncing it, right? Does that sound like a friend? It kind of sounds like something a powerful villain would say.
But it was so funny how she immediately went to comment everywhere, like on our subreddit. She immediately had to comment like, oh, he doesn't work with us anymore. Then but that was it. That's all she said.
But then say that you don't
Okay, do you have anything else to say for your friends, though?
One of the reasons Anissa was so quick to clarify...
You know what? I actually think that those girls in HR need to get paid more money. My opinion on HR girls has changed. Because they have to deal with this shit every day. This is probably what they have to deal with on a daily fucking basis, constantly. Oh my God.
Things in your Reddit is because your Reddit was already talking about who this editor is. And they were spreading misinformation that it was our co-host on our podcast, Uncle Dan.
7 upvotes.
So yeah, the last thing we wanted is this guy getting pulled into this mess, and you guys don't give a fuck. Would it have been nicer and more supportive to say, we don't agree with the things he's saying and we support Ethan and Hila? Sure. Like, yeah, that would have been a nicer thing to say. Our silence means something. It means that we would like to pause this relationship until you figure your shit out. And then maybe we can find a moment in time, I don't know how long it'll be, but a moment in time in the future where things are a little bit easier to broach. I don't think we need to do it right now, but you've insisted that this is an important thing to address. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me on your Instagram story. I would have been perfectly fine with you not blasting me and my wife on your podcast twice. I would be fine with you not brigading my comment section on my podcast that gets 3,000 views a week because I prefer to not do harassment campaigns and instead talk about Vampire's Kiss.
Like they say something like he doesn't work for me, and I strongly disagree, and I support Ethan and Hila. The problem is
that she doesn't.
That's the problem.
That's the problem.
She actually
She thinks they have a point.
I feel bad for not like reacting and having things to say, but this just seems like an incredibly personal dispute between two groups of people that are talking past each other. There's a lot of emotional baggage attached to both sides, and I feel like I'm watching something. I feel like I'm watching something I shouldn't be watching. Like it's voyeurism in a way. That like I'm watching, like I shouldn't be seeing this. Like this shouldn't even be out. What is this?
The problem.
Yeah. So go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Go fuck yourself. What about your girl? This is what I'm talking about.
We need to get Dr. K to react to this. Oh, God. Maybe then they can get some real help, right?
It's aggression that you're putting out into the world.
Oh, fuck.
What the fuck do you think we're going to do?
Yeah, get them to go on Dr. Phil.
You think I'm going to fucking sit on my hands when you do this shit? Like, this is nasty. We had such a fair response to what you guys were going through. We don't support harassment. It's a bad thing, but it happens, and you're perpetuating it.
You fucking propagandist, lying scumbag, terrorist supporter. He probably sets up a mirror and jerks off watching himself. Dan KKK claim.
I mean, Hassan called himself a propagandist. I mean, I don't know why, like, I mean, he said that himself on Pierre's show. Like, it's not like he's making this shit up. And by the way, I even talked to some of the guys that are behind this, like behind the scenes, private conversations, not going to leak the DMs. But I've said multiple times, like, I feel like Dan Clancy, like, I play Dungeons and Dragons, and I realize whenever I've rolled a 14 or like a 16, and I think that's Dan Clancy, right? He's not perfect. There's a lot of things he does that I disagree with, but I wouldn't want to re-roll the dice and like fucking try to like call him like the KKK. Like I don't think he's the KKK. That's crazy, right? I mean, it's unreasonable to say that. More like an 8? You think he's an 8? I don't think he's an 8. I mean, think about the last guy. If the last, well, I guess the last guy could be a 1, but like still, actually the last guy the dice fell off the desk. You don't know what it was.
Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite.
You can't expect other people to stop her.
I'm going to agree with Ian. I don't think Ethan should be calling Dan Clancy a Nazi. This is a needless emotional escalation, and there's no reason to say that. It's completely unfounded, and it's totally unfair.
Harassing you if you continue to harass people. Let's think about it on a micro level. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with?
No.
It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to.
I see this happen, by the way. I'll get notifications from like 2 retards fighting for like the days. Because I'll be tagged in the tweet and they'll be fighting with each other. Like 80 replies.
Touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of like a line, what happened today, that should never be crossed, even by like the most cynical, toxic people. It's going to have ramifications in terms of how I conduct myself. In terms of these fair weather friends who are, you know, so happy to be friends as long as they're getting something out of it.
Ethan, that is a rich thing to say. Like, you're the H3 podcast.
I think it's also like, you know what I said before about like the live streaming, like him live streaming with like those ticks and stuff like that. I think it does delegitimize him and it makes him look unhinged because people don't understand like what Tourette's is. Like, for example, if you go back and you watch a lot of my old videos, I used to cover my mouth a lot whenever I would smile because I was missing all my teeth here, right? And so I didn't want people to see that because I thought it would look bad. So in often cases, there are things that you probably just shouldn't display to your audience, or you should try to avoid displaying to your audience, even though they're a part of your identity, because it could lead people to have conclusions about you or draw those conclusions that are not charitable. And I know it might sound like a heartless thing to say, but I'm a pragmatic person and I'm just being honest and I'm trying to look out for what I think is in somebody's best interest. And sometimes that means telling them something they might not want to hear. Just being honest.
There's a lot of friends of the show. There's even more fair weather friends of the show. Let's not get into this shit, okay? That is so bizarre and insulting to suggest that I was only ever being friends with you to get something out of it. No, I'm friendly with you.
Said, yeah, but they're normal, so you don't want to stream at all? Yeah, I think that if you live stream and you have those tics going on all the time, people are going to think that you're an unhinged crackhead. Yeah, absolutely. I tried saying it in a polite way, and people tried to take it in a worse way, and so I'm just going to say it straight out. That's the truth. It shouldn't be the truth, but that's the truth. I've never made fun of Ethan for that because I never would. Why would I make fun of something for something that's involuntary? That's unfair. But I'm talking about this is telling people how things should be and then telling them, well, just go out there and deal with the consequences. That's great for you because now you can feel good and self-righteous. But they're the ones that have to deal with the hate and like the insults and all of that stuff. Fuck that, man. No, I tell people the truth even if they don't want to hear it. I always thought Ethan was tweaking. I didn't know he had that shit. I know. Like, and I try to be honest. I wish more people were honest.
And I'd say I'm a light friend because it's been pleasant hanging out with you. I've enjoyed your content over the years. And as of late, it's gotten really fucking shitty.
Yeah, so go fuck yourself.
I agree.
Who else? Who else do we want to burn today?
Who else do we want to burn today? You're making it so fucking obvious that this is your emotional dumping ground. It's horrible. This is not what podcasts are.
This is actual criticism about Ethan's podcast, and I think Ian is completely right about this. And I think that using the podcast as your own diary is like, you know how people say that streamers get parasocial with like their viewers get parasocial with streamers? I also think that this podcast is an example of content creators being parasocial with their audience. And I feel like this relationship is unhealthy for everybody who's involved. I know this because I've fallen into the trap myself.
There was a way to approach this to say like, yeah, we feel hurt by you guys not saying something. You've decided to do the extra thing and attack. Now, in fairness, I am attacking back, but...
They're trying to take his kids away for fuck's sake. What'd you expect? Bro, people do all kinds of, like... The thing is that... Do you know how much bullshit a lot of streamers have had to go through? Like, I'm going to give you an example. A legitimate fucking trench marine soldier. Imaru. Think about how much stuff you publicly know that she's had to deal with. And she doesn't go on her stream and talk about it all the time. If she can do it, Ethan can do it.
I feel very insulted and I feel defensive and I feel like I am speaking up for a lot of people who have problems with you and a lot of people who have been on the receiving end of your harassment.
It's so easy to be anti-racist. Everybody's anti-racist. Racism is the worst thing in the world, right? We fucking hate racists. Fuck racists.
Microaggressions.
The minute that they actually have to stick their neck out for somebody, the minute they have to actually risk something to put themselves in under scrutiny, to sacrifice something personally to stand up for racism, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, I don't want to get involved.
And that's a great point Ethan's bringing up here. I think he's absolutely right. Most people love talking about this kind of stuff, but they'll never actually go against the popular opinion. Most people don't hate racism. They hate being on the wrong end of the right side of people's opinions. Ethan's right about this. And I think that if racism became really popular again, you'd see a lot of the virtue signalers being racist. because they don't have any real values. Their only values are just things that benefit themselves.
Drama.
How much do you care?
I don't do drama.
How much
Sorry.
do you actually care? If you're, isn't that the whole point? Like,
I don't.
I realize that Ethan and Hila are more scared now than they've probably ever been. I feel
and
like
I think that they have the right to be, especially considering all the threats they've received and the amount of ways that people have tried to weaponize government programs like CPS that are meant to help abused children. They've weaponized them against that family, and I find it to be disgusting. And I think it's very easy to say that. Ethan absolutely did not deserve that at all, and it's indefensible, and anybody who's making any excuse for it, it's reprehensible. And I think the people making those false calls should be held accountable legally in the same way that people that make false calls to 9/11 are. You are misusing the time, the very limited amount of time that these people have to actually take and protect children from abusive households, just to have them act as executioners for your petty little internet beef that doesn't even matter.
Anti-Semitism is a thought in their heads now more than ever.
Yeah, I mean, 911 calls.
It's not completely unjustified to be thinking about that sometimes. You guys are just hurt, and you're kind of like dancing around and making very like loose, poorly thought out analogies for something that doesn't even apply to us. It's like me making this video is the standing up for something, and it's saying, fuck you, you guys are being bad. You know, I don't think you're bad people, but you're being bad. You're behaving poorly. You're hurting people.
I mean, go back to the civil rights. You think that the people who are like the white kids who are protesting with the black students, you think that they were just like not risking anything? Those kids who are marching with the black students and...
So in Ethan's analogy, he's the black student, and I'm the white student, but I'm the white student that's not.
Nobody is risking even 1% of what the people risked in the 1960s marching for civil rights. Stop the cosplay. Stop it. It's pathetic. And in my opinion, the worst thing about it is the fact that it delegitimizes and it just waters down the absolute like bravery and like true principle of the people that actually marched against this stuff when it mattered. Please stop invoking the 60s slavery. Stop it.
You know, marching by his side. I'm not doing the difficult thing. You're gonna have to march on your own, black student.
Marching with the black students and...
I mean, why is it inspiring?
I know
we're not 30 minutes.
Well, and it's the same thing.
Stop it. Don't
bring
remind
it back
me.
to Son just because, but it kind of is the same thing. Like, I was thinking about going to Gaza until I found out it's dangerous. He's a total performative activist that doesn't give a single fuck about the cause.
It's been performed exquisitely. Harassing one person and seamlessly
I gotta say that it's really respectable that Mudahar said that he was going to go to Gaza. It is. It's really respectable, and I've got to give him props. Yeah, absolutely. It is performative. Yeah, like if you're willing to put, like, yeah, the thing is, like, can you get killed going to Gaza? Yeah. Yeah, you can. But you either do it or not. Yeah, I mean, it's dangerous, and that's it. And I respect people that take a risk like that, especially for people for things that they really believe in.
Transitioning into harassing another one. If anyone's been watching the past fucking year,
would I go to Gaza? I wonder, like, I don't know, like, because I'd worry that, like, I wouldn't totally rule it out. I'll tell you that. If I was in the Middle East, if I could go there and at least have, like, a degree of security, right? Not, like, safety 100%, but, like, just a degree. Yeah, I do. This is the way I look at it is, like, if you live your life and you're afraid of taking any risks, like I thought about this, like it was a kind of like an epitome for me, where it was like, and this is an aside, and this video is already super long, but like they asked, like, would you ever go to space? And it's like, if I'm afraid of dying going to space, that's like you're afraid of dying, like, to transcend the boundaries of humankind. Like, if you're afraid to do everything like that to where, like, you can transcend your own existence, why are you even alive? And so, yeah. Yeah, no, fuck it. Yeah, absolutely. Take a risk. Huh? That's just me, right? I mean, I don't think anybody else should live like I do. I'm just talking about how I feel.
I'm pretty sure they have a good idea of your feelings about Hassan.
Like people like Anissa
Yeah.
are the perfect example because she's friends with these people. She's friends with Denims. Denims is streaming this story about our
I'll
kid
show that, yeah.
getting Giarda from the dog, whatever.
I'm sorry. I'll accept this take, this position from anyone except you guys. You have laid the groundwork for this type of streaming, which is watching people's shit and giving your unfiltered reaction to it. Why would you
What, it was not about me? Well, fuck you, Ian.
expect Anissa, of all people, to say something to Denims? Okay, so by that logic, we should be saying shit to you guys all the time. But I have a feeling you guys wouldn't like if we said shit like that to you all the time. Yeah, we've been respecting you as independent content creators. You can do what you want. We'll treat you as adults. Maybe we shouldn't have been treating you as adults.
She could say so much, and it would make her a little bit uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable. She'll get a little bit of shit.
Yeah, just for
But
saying
that would be
which
commendable.
And by the way, it kind of speaks for itself that saying, hey, their house is claimed, they're, they're actually good people, like that's going to get you shit. That kind of says it all, doesn't it?
There isn't a single person that I respect who would give a fuck if I publicly said that Ethan and Hila are great with their kids, Ethan and Hila didn't kill their dog, and Ethan and Hila wipe their asses or don't have giardia or whatever the prompt is. No one would care. The only person who would care is me, because I'm like, why did I tweet this out? I'm not tweeting out because I'm not your fucking lapdog. That's why I'm not tweeting it out. I'm not saying it to my audience because I don't give a fuck. It's not my business.
That's, in my opinion, doing something that's
Yes, it
difficult
does.
and standing by your principles. That's the whole point. That's what makes standing by your principles admirable, is that it's not always easy.
Why are you saying that I'm not standing up for
Can
my
we get
principles?
Hassan on to say some crazy shit again? Like, where's Hassan gonna talk about something dumb? Like, or like Denim say something crazy, or Sean pop off. Like, come on, can we wrap this up? This is not gonna
You
go
don't even
on
know
for
what
another
they
half
are.
hour, right?
I get, like, we're a little bit past
Come on.
directly naming me, so we might
Let's
have
go.
gone off on a
Let's go.
tangent.
Let's
If you
dial this
maybe
shit up.
accepted the phone call and we talked about it, you could have asked me, hey, what are your principles? And I can tell you the way I've been behaving is exactly in line with my principles. Now we're going to talk about the BDS list. We're going to start off with Frogan because obviously this is like as bad as it gets. If you're following Frogan, that can only mean that you're anti-Ethan. Oh, this is not
I
a
follow Frogan.
good start. Love of the H3 podcast. You are following Frogan, so
Oh.
that means that you are anti-Ethan. Sam, Morg Pie, friend of the
Oh, this is the
show.
part with me.
Olivia,
That's right. I
Ian,
remember
Daily
this.
Dose of Internet is anti-Ethan. Jesus, this is fucked up. Pokimane, comment etiquette. Oh shit, Asmongold's in here.
Damn, look who it is. This is the best part of the video. Finally, bro. Finally, this shit starts to get interesting. They're talking about me. All right.
Here. Asmongold follows Frogan.
This is the first time he smiled. This is about me, obviously.
No, Asmon. That means
Yeah.
you're anti-Ethan.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. We're going to want to avoid these creators at the top of the list, but one tier below them are the creators who associate with them. They're essentially endorsing all of their statements. You got me, you got Anissa, I think Hassan's in there. You'd think that Hassan would be on the top of the BDS list, but that's not the case. Hassan provides additional value for people. Ethan can turn a blind eye to people collaborating with Hassan because that's what he did. You gotta be the lowest of the low to be associating with the Frogans and the Denims of the world. To associate with Hassan, that just makes sense because he's famous and he's got a massive fan base. Also, Ethan
Well,
still
yeah, I mean, that's actually kind of true.
follows Hassan on Instagram, so Hassan is in his feed.
And that's showing up right up on us Nisa's and iDubbbz's feed.
It's important to remember that this is a living document and people can be removed or put onto it depending on how Ethan's feeling that day. You have this other tier of creators that exist below Hassan but are still anti-Ethan, but Ethan really doesn't want to bring your attention to these ones because it's kind of unpopular, you know? A lot of them are famous. It's no coincidence that Ethan stays silent when...
I mean, I've never heard Stavros or Theo say anything about Ethan one way or another. They do? I don't even know. Like the only clip, let me see if remember the Stavros clip where he's like, I read some stupid stuff about you, Hassan. I don't like you anymore. Like, that was like, it's just like, everything is always so serious now. That was funny. This guy's funny. That video is like isn't like, oh God, yes.
These powerful, popular men are supporting Hassan. It's because Ethan is a coward. He's a bitch-made coward. I think Ethan has an unreasonable amount of respect for these comedians because they have power, they're quick, and I think he knows that they don't fuck with his ideology. But he's gonna keep that to himself because the last thing that he wants to discover
didn't Theo interview Donald Trump and also JD Vance? And he goes to like fucking MMA events with the other redneck white people Avengers? Like Dana White, Joe Rogan, Kid Rock. Like, what are we talking about here?
That people that he respects and looks up to, they don't fuck with him.
Bill Burr came on. It was like the worst fucking show. It was just horrible. That was like my lowest moment on podcast history. We could talk about Bill Burr, ruined my life. Bill Burr made Ethan go on Lexapro. I was prescribed it and it was in my bedside. And then it was the Bill Burr episode that made me finally start.
When Stavros goes on Hassan's stream and he mocks your content nuke.
I actually saw a really interesting video about you.
I'm sorry, but this was really funny. Like, can we just go back to just thinking that sometimes this was funny?
Man, and I don't know that I'm even comfortable being here anymore.
Oh no.
It really kind of shed light on you in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of like have leftist politics and stuff like that. And I actually feel betrayed.
Yeah.
And so I'm actually just here to let you know this is the last time I'm ever coming.
You don't fire back because...
It's just funny. Like, why does everything have to be so serious? It's just funny. Yes. What's going on with this?
You're coping. So you're just going to tuck your tail between your legs and never mention...
supposedly never watched it? How many times... That's actually... Okay, so we all know that's not true. How many times do you think Hassan's watched it? I think probably 2.5, right? Like, because he's probably watched, like, I think he probably watched at least a couple of reactions of it, too. I think the only one, but it took him, like, 6 hours to get through it. No, and also, like, I have to say that I respect Ethan in a way, because Ethan reacted to this content cop right off the rip, immediately, instantaneously reacted to it, whereas Hassan never reacted to Ethan's video about him. And I think Hassan should have reacted to it. I know he's not going to, and I get why he's not going to. I understand it. But at the same time, you know, I've got to admire a guy that, like, a massive video gets put out on you, a content cop, and you immediately live react to it. I mean, you gotta, like, that's big dick energy, man. It is.
On your podcast that mentions everything. You're bringing up some fucking connection I have on Twitter. Someone mocks you on a stream, you're not touching it. Fuck you, you're a coward. It's just his job. It's just what he does for his job. You know, he doesn't mean it. We're actually good friends. You know, he makes fun of everyone. It's not just me, right? Oh, also, I can't forget about Matt Lieb. Matt Lieb is in this, like, middle tier. His valuable association is Rhett and Link. So Rhett and Link conveniently, are also in this category of popular and powerful men who Ethan does not want to burn bridges with. Although, he's sniffing around.
This guy, Matt Lieb, he works for Good Mythical Morning. Of all people, this guy, Matt Lieb, who apparently is a producer for Good Mythical Morning. Well, this guy works for Good Mythical Morning, acting like he's wholesome, and he's bringing on somebody that wants to kill my wife, or in a video game. And I think he should be fired, frankly. And I hope he is fired. He's pathetic, and he interviewed basically a terrorist.
I think Ethan only respects power right now, which is one of the reasons I made this video in the first place, is because he thinks I'm weak. He thinks a lot of these other creators that he's gone out of his way to...
I will say that this video, I think that the main, like if I was going to make a tier list of who got the most hate out of this video, it would be Ian is number 1, Hassan is number 2, number 3, surprisingly, is actually Frogan, and number 4 would be Ethan. I feel like I feel like everybody's been hating on Ian about this. Like, I haven't seen hardly any positive posts about this at all.
He thinks that they're weak, and he thinks they're a target that he can bully, he can manipulate, he can send lawsuits to. And I want him to know that we're not going to be bullied. You're being a piece of shit, and we're going to call you out.
So here's the button. You've got a video, and you've got an audio. We're hitting both.
The button do?
Yes.
There's no point.
Let's leave.
Yeah, there's no need.
Is that the Diet Coke button?
I don't want that. Shit. Like, how pathetic are you? Don't worry if you don't have it all now. All gone with your
I don't like
pedophile. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
This, by the way, should have been the intro. This is actually kind of cinema, and it makes him look super unhinged. This should have been the intro.
You can be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. Yes, please, I want to be a good Jew.
Yeah,
I'm a good Jew. Please, guys, please.
That was fine. Yeah, I don't think it was that.
That was fine.
Big a deal. Of all the things that it always surprises me what you think crosses the line.
Well, I looked at Olivia and she's like, yes, do it.
Now let's talk about the button. Ethan got this button, or kill switch, as a response to the controversy with Cutie Cinderella. He was not able to control himself in that moment, and instead of figuring out how he can change his behavior, he spent $20,000.
Dan and Ela were like, we would kill button that right now if we could. I can't change who I am.
I know.
Now, I don't want to say that 99% of his problems are caused by him live streaming, because it's actually more like it's only 95. I said before and again and again and again, I think this is exactly what it is. Yep, and even he realized it. See? He even made a button for it, exactly.
That's why the kill button is on its way.
That's it, see, exactly.
He uses the button for everything. If his jokes don't land, he's hitting the button.
It was being presented as if the Jordan crying thing.
I hit the button.
Why?
I don't think I needed to, but you guys were giving me crickets, so I panicked.
If he's insecure about getting something wrong, he's hitting the button.
But, okay.
What?
Button for that? What on this frame could Ethan have responded to? Perhaps the country flag that he got wrong? Maybe. I don't know.
If he goes on a problematic tirade, he's hitting the button.
See, this wouldn't work for me, because usually most of my racist tirades go on for like a week. Yeah. Yeah, so like that's crazy, because usually, like, I mean, you know, I'll go on about it for a while. Yeah, you need a really big button.
Look how sad. But yeah, it's not just that. Like their eyes are like big. I think you guys are wrong on this one. I think you guys are all wrong on this one.
I don't think he's unique in hitting the button. I think if all of us had buttons, we'd hit the button all the time. But if you don't have it, you operate differently. You think about what you're saying.
Apparently not.
Maybe plan for your show a little bit more. You maybe say, I'm not going to have my podcast be an emotional dumping ground.
I don't think this is a fair criticism that Ian is putting towards Ethan. I don't think so, because the fact is that in extemporaneous speech, mistakes happen. Like, for example, like, I'll give you a great example. Whenever I was talking about, like, I think it was like some woman, like hitting some other woman for like an abortion argument, and I said that she should be segregated from society, I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't have said that because she's black, right? I didn't say it because she was black, but it could be seen that way. And it's like, okay, well, you probably, like, if I was editing down, I would have changed that, you know, because there's like a separate meaning for that. Yeah. So, well, what I'm saying is that, like, people make oopsies, right? And they say things that could be perceived in a way that are that's kind of bad, right? That's all. And so it could be misinterpreted. So like, I mean, I don't think that's really a bad thing in general. So yeah, I mean, and he has Tourette's, or involuntary speech tics too. Yeah, I'm just trying to be honest here about this kind of stuff. Trying to be fair.
Today, you instead say, ooh, it's important that we stay on topic.
Let's give you an example.
Also, the H3 community and Ethan himself use the phrase goblin mode all the time to excuse a lot of his shitty behavior or make it seem less bad.
I've been diagnosed with goblin mode, actually.
By claiming that what happens is he just gets into this like uncontrolled state he refers to as goblin mode.
I do not call myself goblin mode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, you did.
Goblin mode? Is that what you're calling Tourette's now? To all victims of goblin mode, I would like to issue an apology.
You are goblin mode today. You're goblin mode. Look how many times you paused the
I'm trying,
video.
bro.
And I don't think there's no room for using the term goblin mode. I like the idea that you're defending yourself and the little guy by going goblin mode when a big corporation or a big entity is trying to attack you.
Like, if you fuck me over, if you steal money from me, if you patronize me, if you do any of this shit like you're trying to do to me, to treat me like a fucking idiot, I'm crazy, dude.
He should have put the Joker music behind this. If he had put the Joker music behind this and given him the makeup like they did with Donald Trump, bro, this would have gone so hard.
I've gone fucking goblin mode over way less.
But you not thinking about what you're saying, not, you know, reflecting on your behavior, not changing your behavior, that's not goblin mode. That's being a child. Let's talk about the crew. I think the crew has been put in
the entire premise of goblin mode is ridiculous. You're an adult man. You should be accountable for your own behavior at all times. Period.
Worst working environment that you possibly can be for a fucking podcast. Every crew member has it bad. Like, to be around Ethan, period, would be a nightmare right now.
I'm standing by every fucking syllable of that, okay? What she did was abhorrent. And by the way,
just don't listen. Your critique of her is correct. It's just, you know, people are sensitive about women being called that word, and so
like, how pathetic are you?
What a bitch. Yeah, of course. I call women bitches every day. Well, some of them are. What? What is this, some kind of a big deal? Everybody knows this.
You know what I mean?
Well,
I'm not assuming his pronouns. And
different
fuck
audience? Yeah, my audience is a little bit different.
All these people. Go ahead.
No,
and I'm not yelling at you. I'm just... Kelly is a black woman, right?
Yes.
Maziel...
Oh, here we go.
...is a...
Korean.
Now, that's funny.
Oh, Dan, come on. You're being such a buzzkill. Yeah, I didn't know Korean. I asked if Koreans are POs. God.
That's
You know, Dan's in the bathroom. Let's just not do this right now.
I asked if Korean people are POCs.
The one time the button didn't work and we listened to how he spoke to AB without thinking that the internet was going to hear it.
They are POCs, by the way, but they're not bi POC, which is Black and Indigenous POC. So they had that there wasn't enough for people to like be oppressed on one level. They had to create like multiple different like 4-dimensional oppression in order to get more attention.
Rude. It was
People of
nasty,
color,
and
POC.
it didn't have this caveat of like, I'm not mad at you. It was
Yeah, they're a
anger,
lower power
and it was
level.
uncalled for.
Use they get access to cover most of it.
We're doing it.
What are you
Making it
doing?
so awkward and terrible.
I'm sorry, I'm not.
Just like this is what I'm talking about when it's always like.
We need to get home for our kids.
It's like, bro.
Oh no, I didn't want to finish it right now. I was just talking about finishing Wednesday.
On Friday, maybe. Is it? You guys like.
All right, I'm taking my hand off. What? Okay, well.
heard all that.
Thanks, Button.
And he didn't want to take accountability for it. He immediately wanted to deflect, and he wanted to say that the button fucked him.
First of all, I appreciate the hard work.
I know you
you've
do,
done, and
I
I
know.
loved it, and I really enjoy it. But it's like every time we do it, it's like the show is what it is, and
I know.
Here's the thing, is that when you work with somebody that you respect, am I crazy that you deal with stuff like this sometimes? It's not really a big deal. Like, I remember my manager at the IRS, like, multiple times would basically call me fucking retarded. And, like, you know, like, all kinds of other stuff. I didn't really care about this. This is, like, but, like, you know, there's a mutual respect. Like, it's just the way, like, I don't know. I feel like this is, like, Karen stuff. Like, it's not a big deal. And also, like, so, and the problem, too, is that when you say something like that, I feel like I've never, and you can ask anybody that's ever worked for me, again, throwing the gauntlet down, has anybody ever had an experience where I have ever said anything even slightly derogatory or dismissive or rude to you as a person in a position of power? The answer to that is absolutely not. Never. I don't do that. So, I mean, but like, I think it's okay to have passionate conversations and to care about that. Like, I don't know if there's enough really there to complain about that much.
I was being selfish.
No, dude, that button f***ed me, dude. Can you imagine that button f***ing me over like that?
The button fucked you? AB fucked you? Who fucked you? You fucked yourself by being an asshole. He makes it seem like he's not a tyrant of a boss.
We're doing it.
What are you
Making it so
doing?
awkward and terrible. I appreciate the hard work.
I know
you've
you do.
done, and I loved it.
I don't think this is a big deal. Like, I think this is a big deal. I think this is like, it could be and it could not be a big deal. Like, it is if this is the way that the work environment usually is. But, like, I'll tell you that there are plenty of people that work together and they get really mad at each other and then things just get resolved and it's not a big deal.
And I really enjoy it.
Dan, his producer, is constantly clarifying things on the air and making it clear that what Ethan said was a joke, Ethan is being overly defensive, or he's saying things that are like not true and he's exaggerating.
People saw that. They thought that that was what you searched to
I did
pull
not
up that photo. So I'm just clarifying.
Thank you for clarifying. I appreciate you doing that. God forbid.
It's okay because I buttoned it.
Why?
Because
it's not that big of a deal, man.
Just
Like,
your
how
inability to.
No. Hold on, Dan. How does it change anything? People knowing that we did it.
It's fun when it's a surprise.
Okay, well,
Well, you just asked how it changed
Surprise
things.
them on your show.
Okay. All right.
You know, I understand that that's his role, and he's, you know, Ethan's made that his job, or Dan's made it his job. Ethan leans on it so heavily, in the same way that he leans on the button. Ethan is leaning on all of these people to be adults and look after his behavior and give all of this emotional and empathetic energy for Ethan, but Ethan...
I think Ian is right here. I think that if you need this many guardrails for you live streaming, you should stop live streaming. Straight up. It's obviously not in your best interest. Should be, yeah, I'm just being, again, straight up. There it is. Shouldn't be doing it.
Refuses to give it back to them. Also, let's talk about AB and Lena, 2 Lebanese employees, and you just continue to talk about the conflict like they don't exist. It would be nicer, a lot nicer, for you to shut the fuck up about it. You're allowed to do that.
Hezbollah in Syria alone killed double that much. All right, I'm going to move on. I just want to play Hassan talking about bad empanada.
Ethan doesn't want to change, and he wants to bring the entire crew down with him because he's putting them in this position every day, right? But it's more important that he gets this shit off his chest. It's more important that he dumps. We're all familiar with Goblin mode. Well, Ethan debuted a new mode recently.
And by the way, my ratio is pretty good. Like, I'm looking at like 20 Goblin modes to 1 too far. Demon mode, let's call it.
It looks like she got an Invader Zim backpack. What the fuck is going on?
What makes Demon mode different than Goblin mode is goblins aren't really like an intimidating, powerful force. If the goblin is persistent, it can get what it wants.
When I'm done with the other one, the big one that's dropping probably next week, my full attention is going to you, George. Like the Eye of Sauron. I see you. I see you out there, you fucking cockroach.
Ethan, the reason the internet got behind you when you were being sued by Matt Haas or when you were being sued by Ryan Kavanaugh is because people saw you as the underdog. They saw you as the guy who's defending the common man.
I'm suing, and I cannot wait for you guys to read it. At the moment, we are writing 3 complaints for 3 people.
You are doing the classic rich asshole thing. You have a deficit of friends, you have a surplus of...
Saying that somebody justified a genocide is defamatory if there's not credible evidence for it. I actually think Ethan has a point, and I think that there needs to be a degree of accountability so people tone down the rhetoric online. That's crazy to say. You don't get to just lie about people and then you're okay for it because you have money.
Enemies. You feel really bad. You feel hurt. But you also have a surplus of money. So what can you do? You can use that money to bully and intimidate people. These public legal threats that you're making to fellow creators, these legal threats that you're making to people on Reddit, on Twitter, you're like, I'm hurt. These people are hurting me.
I have to say, how is it that you're going to call the CEO of Twitch a pedophile, but you're going to sue somebody else for saying that you supported the genocide? Yeah, that's bad what they said about you. But publicly calling somebody else a pedophile like that is way worse.
What do I do to stop it? There's nothing I can do to stop it. I'm powerless. No, you have a ton of power. You have a ton of options. You have a ton of choice. That's exactly what you get for being filthy rich. Yeah. Is you can do all of these things.
I've never want to sue someone for defamation, but like at what point? Like, at what point do you kind of fucking have to? I mean, this is like basically someone calling you a pedophile. Be like, yeah, you know, Ethan's a pedophile.
Dan Clancy or whatever, like the CEO of
Good one.
Twitch and be
pedophile. Dan KKK Clancy has a similar view of Hitler. Because Dan Clancy, the Nazi, fucking anti-Semite. There are certain things you can accuse people of that rise above to make it like actionable, which is like wrongfully accusing someone of being a pedophile, a sex criminal, a murderer, shit like that. Dan Clancy now, in other words, he is a pedophile.
I think, by the way, this is content cop content. Like, I'm so glad that we got through the first half hour of couples therapy to where we actually now have real content.
You have so much less to go off of saying that than anybody has about
based
Dream.
on his looks. Just based on his
Well, at least you're self-aware.
That's 100% a joke. I have no evidence to conclude that he is.
One of the more notable legal threats
if you had the button for that, I feel like that would have been a really good time for the button.
Ethan has sent out recently is against Noah Sampson.
I have nothing but vibes to gain, and potentially your money as well. Don't worry if you don't have it all now. I'll garnish your wages. You're going to be living with your parents for a lot longer, buddy. 26, you know what I mean? Try 46.
Noah made a video that was critical of Ethan and other content creators when they're talking about Israel and Palestine.
I think that Ian is running defense for this by saying and framing it in that way. When the title of the video is the YouTubers that backed it. Like, I'll show you the video. This is the one that Hassan wanted me to... Hassan wanted to... How many subs was he going to gift me if I watched this video? The whole thing on stream. It was like a huge amount, right? He really wanted me to watch this. And the YouTubers who backed the genocide... 500 subs, yeah, there it was. And, like, to say that a YouTuber backs a genocide, this is a pretty heavy accusation, right? This is a really heavy accusation. This isn't being critical of how they are talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict. This is someone saying that not only are you talking about it, but you are actively promoting the ethnic cleansing of a group of people. Like, that is an insane accusation to make about somebody. Crazy accusation to make. And so, like, I think that Ian is doing a bad job. I think he's framing it in a way that's soft towards Noah. And I think that what Noah went out and titled his video as is extreme. And it is way beyond criticism of, like, Israel-Palestine. It is an extreme opinion to have.
I mean, the way he's talking about Noah.
Have you watched the video personally? No, I have not. I'm basing it off of the title. Because if I look at this title tells me Destiny, whoever these guys are, Mudahar, and Ethan back to genocide. As mentioned, watch? No. I mean, like, you can't title a video like this and be like, no, there's actually more to it than that. Come on, guys. That's an extreme level of framing. That is a massively extreme level of framing. Come on. What do we talk? Like, really, what are we doing here, guys? It's clickbait, maybe? Have we ever used... Does the clickbait... Is there a clickbait defense in court? I don't know.
Is so fucking creepy and weird.
Is this a new thing?
This is a new thing. This happened during the show. Upon initial examination, it seems to check out, and it's not great for young Noah.
Can I say that? Don't say it yet.
I'll say it.
So he's a rape. So of course his standard. I don't know what he's accused of, so I'm not actually going to say. But
Ethan brought on a former partner of Noah to basically just shit talk him and say that he's a bad partner. But that's all that Ethan was able to extract out of it.
You are not accusing him of committing any crimes or doing R-word or anything like that. The accusation is that he's a sleaze.
Absolutely. Noah Sampson, as far as I know, is not a rapist.
Fuck you to Noah Sampson, who's not just a liar and a scumbag, but also a creep. Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Now let's talk about the left-leaning Democrat.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat who supports basic things.
The thing that made me start to question Ethan's intentions is that when he was suggested to talk to Sam Cedar, a fellow progressive, a guy that Ethan respects and looks up to.
He works with Sam Cedar at the Majority Report. I respect him and what they do there.
He kept saying that it was racist or anti-Semitic to suggest that he talked to someone who's within the same ethnic group as him.
That's why I said yesterday, like, I urge Ethan to talk to Sam Cedar. There are very thoughtful, very kind anti-Zionist Jews out there that he could talk to. I don't think that I will be able to reach him.
What's the insinuation that I only listen to other Jewish people? You need to talk to my pre-approved list of Jews that like agree with me on everything. You know, it doesn't matter if they're Jewish, dude. It doesn't matter if they're fucking Jewish.
I think most Jews.
I don't think Jews at large view it. I don't think that is the...
In what position are you to even say that?
It's not motivated by myself. It's motivated by Jews against anti-Zionist Jews.
Seriously, how can you speak for my entire ethnic group? I find that really interesting.
Ethan, I don't know what to...
This is so stupid. This is so stupid. Of course, there's Jewish people. It's the same as like, I don't like this idea that Jewish people have to, like, it's not true. There are Jewish people that are critical of Israel because being a Jew doesn't mean that you're pro-Israel. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of Jews that are pro-Israel because it's their, their ethnic group. Sure, right? I mean, there's own group bias with everything. And also Israel is Jewish people, so you're going to have a huge overlap. Like this entire, I just feel like this entire conversation is dishonest. There's Americans that hate America. Yeah, exactly. They're all on Reddit. Well, some are on Twitch. And so, yes, I mean, I don't understand this at all. This is so, this is such like a non-issue point. Of course, there's Jewish people that are critical of Israel. Of course, there's non-Jewish people that are not critical or that are critical of Israel and they're not Nazis. Like, it's again, this is just, there's so much dishonesty here.
Fucking tell you, this is like step one of having a leftist ideology is recognizing our race, religion, nationality, all this shit, all shape our experiences as people.
Well, that's the reason why it'd be better served to have this conversation not with myself, but with an anti-Zionist Jewish person.
Why does it matter if they're Jewish?
Because I'm not Jewish, and you've said in this conversation that, like, how can you tell me how to feel about the situation?
Yeah, but how is one person...
I think that Hassan makes a good point here, actually. Because if Ethan is disregarding Hassan's argument on the basis that Hassan is telling him how to feel about his ethnic group, then the right answer to that would be to have a conversation that shares with a person who shares Hassan's views that is part of Ethan's ethnic group. I mean, this is just, it's just logical. There's not any argument about this is just simply logical. Like, yeah, it's pretty reasonable. Yeah. Yeah, duh. How are people not...
representative of Jews at large. I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
So yes, Ethan, on occasion you might be suggested to talk to someone who has some crossover with you. It doesn't have to be your ethnicity. It could possibly be someone who shares progressive ideology with you. It could possibly be someone who is of your same gender. I think Ethan understands this concept very well. He listened to these women on his show when they told him that he shouldn't be calling women bitches.
This bitch is intolerable. You are such a nasty fucking bitch, Ken.
I don't know if you can call her a bitch, though.
She is a bitch. She's a fucking bitch.
Okay,
You're right. I call her a see you next Tuesday.
Listen, I'm
curious, what do Lena and Sam think about it?
I wouldn't be okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel like that is
too bad. Quit telling him what to say. Quit Karen. What's this Karen shit? You act like a bitch, you get called a bitch. Brother. I wonder why I only have 98% male viewers. What could be the reason? Yeah, let's let the Council of Karens tell Ethan what to talk about. Nah, who gives a fuck what they think? There's nothing wrong with them calling her a bitch.
It's for the girlies, Ethan. But I
So
agree.
you guys all seem to be in consensus that it's in poor form. I think to respect the women here in the room, I'm going to have to pass on saying that.
I can respect him saying that, and if I was in a position, like, for example, if I was around a family and they had a kid that had disabilities and they were offended by me saying retarded, I wouldn't say retarded around them because I'm just a normal, well-adjusted person who sometimes accommodates other people's sensitivities to avoid having a confrontation that's unnecessary. No, I wouldn't do that for my job, right? I wouldn't do that as a regular basis, but I think that that's just the way any normal person would do.
Infantilization of Ethan Klein is fucking nauseating. He's not a child. He is absolutely capable of looking into Hassan, learning about his politics, interviewing, doing loads of things to figure out where he stands.
He presents himself as someone like me, a left-leaning Democrat
who supports basic things. And for the first time, I noticed an inordinate amount of radical, hardcore leftists. I mean, I thought we were social democrats, not whatever this was. This comment from Hassan really started to sound some alarms in my head. I was already getting uncomfortable with our partnership. I started to wonder if I had any idea who this guy actually is.
You made how many episodes with Hassan? Like, this guy...
Well, wait a minute. So the comment was that Hassan was talking about people in a capitalist society, if they were making it socialist, and what to do with the people that still believed in capitalism. And Hassan said that they'd need to be re-educated. So, like, we cut out what Ethan was talking about to make it seem like Ethan is fear-mongering. I remember watching the video. That just means school? Then address that. Then address it. Like, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. Then address it.
Made a fucking program with the biggest mega leftist on the platform. Now he's acting like he was tricked and he was incapable of figuring out what this guy's beliefs were. Bro, I didn't make the fucking leftist program. You did. You made fucking, what, 60 some odd episodes of this shit for hours talking to this guy? You didn't have a problem with any of it until, Ethan talks about being aware of Hassan's 9/11 comments and then sort of leaves it at that. Like it was just a joke. Actually, I think Ethan describes them as edgy moments or jokes.
You might remember him from such classics as...
America deserved 9/11, dude. Fuck it, I'm saying it.
Now, to be clear, I knew about all these edgy and controversial jokes at the time.
Who cares? So Hassan said something in 2008. Who cares?
We made the show together because who am I to judge?
No, Ethan, those aren't jokes, right? When someone makes a controversial statement like that, that's not them trying to be funny. I can understand why you would conflate the two. That is someone who is extremely frustrated and passionate about a particular topic. In this case, American imperialism and terrorism. You could have looked into that. You could have talked to Hassan a little bit more and found out what his international politics opinions are. But you wouldn't even need to do that. You can look at it online. You're not a victim. You weren't.
Both things are true. Number one, American imperialism and interventionism in the Middle East and other parts of the world destabilize those countries, and in some cases will create a negative reaction for America. And I think 9/11 could have been an example of that. And there's also the truth that saying it as in America deserved 9/11 is a very bad way of saying it. Both of these things I think are true. And I think that reasonable people that are I think just not captured by like a crazy ideology can see both of these things being accurate. Like, really, am I crazy for saying this? I don't think it's a false dichotomy. Yeah, this is not, we don't need this. Why sugarcoat it? I think it's just about framing and phrasing. Like, I don't think Hassan's the worst person ever for saying it like that. I think he said plenty of things that are worse than that. Like, that's one of the ones I've defended, even that one, right? I don't think it's that big of a deal. But, like, I find what I really don't like about this is that it seems like everybody involved in this is not trying to approach the conversation with the willing assumption that the other person is like, they're not willing to listen to the way that that person is trying to communicate. And it's more important for them to put their spin on the way that a person is trying to talk rather than listen to what they're saying and try to understand it. I feel like it's like all of these arguments are just like extremely bad faith. Like it's bad faith for Hassan to have said it that way. It's bad faith for Ian to frame it as if it wasn't a bad way of saying it. It's a bad faith for Ethan to say that it was just a joke. Like it just, everything about this is just so, I don't know.
Tricked. You made 60 some odd episodes. Yeah. If you didn't want to go down this route, you shouldn't have done it. But that was your fucking choice. You did it. You are an adult. When Ethan and Hila are watching Matt Lieb saying that one state doesn't represent all Jews, they cannot wrap their heads around the idea.
Yeah, of course.
No single person represents all Jews.
I'm just telling you how Jewish people around the world interpret that phrase.
No single person represents all Jews, as no single state represents all Jews.
This is another weird thing.
Oh my God.
Israel.
I think it's both true that, and I'm not Jewish, contrary to what 4chan might believe, I'm actually not Jewish. I think it's very common that a lot of Jewish people feel uncomfortable whenever they hear things like from the river to the sea and a lot of the pro-Palestine rhetoric, because some of it is, it does seem like it's violent, right? And I think that some people are like that, for sure. But at the same time, I think that, yeah, Ethan can't say that everybody thinks this, but there are a lot of people that do. Of course they would think that. Yeah, sure. Like, you see what I'm saying again? Like, this is just like another example of like this dishonesty that I've been talking about for the whole video. Jewish people actually think the opposite? I don't know. I'm sure some people do, but I don't think there's like just a pre-approved opinion that like when you spawn in as a Jew, they say, okay, you're going to have this, that, and the other thing.
This is a lie that I see Hassan and people pander. They say that Israel's going to war on behalf of Judaism. They have never, I don't believe that that's ever been stated. And I don't think Israel ever explains that it's like, I think Israel says it's a place where Jews can go.
Israel's just a place Jews can go? With that slogan, we might actually have peace. You know, if that's all you're defining Israel as, is a place Jews can go. Like, sure, it sounds like America to me. Like, all right.
I don't think that Israel said they represent all Jews. I don't think that's a stance. We're like, hey, displacing Palestinians is all Jewish people.
I'm going to have to push back a little bit against that. I think that a lot of pro-Israel advocacy groups, I'm not speaking for Israel particularly, but a lot of pro-Israel advocacy groups intentionally muddy the waters between anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism, where anti-Zionism is being against the state of Israel and anti-Semitism is being against Jewish people. And I think that a lot of that obfuscation is done on purpose. And I think that it goes both ways. There are people who say that they don't like Israel, but they actually don't like Jews. And there's people that accuse you of not liking Jews just because you don't like Israel. There's a lot of dishonesty in this.
Ethan is being so disingenuous here to suggest that he doesn't understand what Matt Lieb is saying. Like, he's making a semantic argument. Like, I don't think Israel has said that it represents every last Jew on the planet. I don't think Israel has claimed that. They're not going to say that their most genocidal behavior represents anything to do with them, okay? But what they are going to do is they're going to inexplicably link Israel and Jewishness together, so when they're being criticized, all of a sudden they have the perfect defense. Oh, another thing I need to mention. There was a tier list. It was called the Who Can Say Habibi tier list. It was presented at TwitchCon as like a panel that was just meant to be lighthearted and fun. And Ethan Klein saw that, and he decided that it was anti-Semitic.
Tier list them, and we're going to need your help to discuss and figure out who can.
I think that this is a racial tier list, and it's racial coding, and it's inappropriate for a corporate public event. It is. This is inappropriate for a corporate public event. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, whether you want to call it racist or not, I don't want to get down in, like, that specific definition. But I think that every reasonable person can see that a ethnic tier list that's created is generally not something that would be viewed positively. Because, like, there's clearly, like, a good and a bad, right? And so, like, whenever you create a ethnic or a cultural tier list where there's the good side, the green, and the bad side, the red, you're just asking for trouble. I mean, I don't understand how this is confusing. Like, it's so obvious that they shouldn't have done this. I really, like, I don't understand this at all. Like, how is this even a possibility?
Can say Habibi and who can't.
And also, like, we have tiers. We have Arab coded. They ask permission to say Habibi. You know, like you got like a white guy's like, can I say it? Is it slurs? And then Love Sabra, which is they're not Arab coded at all.
Now, when I first saw this tier list, I immediately knew what it was doing. I was like, oh, it's a play on the who has the N-word pass and who doesn't tier list.
Yeah, and can we just agree that that's something that probably isn't appropriate for a corporate event? Like, I mean, I don't know how, like, what are we talking about? Like, why are we doing gymnastics about this?
Granted, Habibi is very different than the N-word, but it is a cultural word.
Yeah, I thought it was like it's like my friend, basically, yeah.
Amongst Arabic-speaking people and Muslim people. Like, that is a word that's used.
Like,
Habibi.
Every time I've talked positively about, like, Dubai or Saudi Arabia, I have people that say, come to Dubai, Habibi, or something like that. Like, people say that all the time. Like, it's not, like, I don't think it's really a big deal, but, like, it's just not appropriate for a corporate event. And especially, again, the problem with it is that it was presented in a way where there's, like, a right and a wrong. And I think that when you create a racial and ethnic tier list with people, and there's, like, the people that are good at the top and the people that are bad at the bottom, that's weird, man. It's weird. And again, I have no problem with these tier lists. And you guys know Frogan was like, oh, I'm going to do like a 9/11 thing. Like, I've made more 9/11 jokes than Frogan has. I guarantee it, okay? I'm not going to clutch my fucking pearls over this. But you have to have some degree of self-awareness to realize that this type of thing isn't very popular among corporations. Come on, just be realistic. Really? I mean, what are we talking about? Like, why was we even talking about this?
It means my love. Oh no, don't do that, Habibi. Oh yes, Habibi. You're my Habibi, I'm your Habibi. So yes, it's meant to be a fun way that these Arab content creators can express their Arab culture and be proud of it and happy about it. Because it's not like they have...
Listen, this video is so long, I don't want to pull up a bunch of people. It's not a corporate event, it was a community event. You've typed this like 5 times, man. It's a corporate event. It's TwitchCon. Twitch is a corporation. It's being funded by other corporations. Just stop it. Like, TwitchCon is a corporate event. Like, how do you... Jesus, what a fucking retard. How does somebody talk? How does somebody think like that? How can somebody
have massive representation on the platform?
Making a tier list based on race. And nobody has a fucking problem with that. Okay, you have a tier list based on race. Where's the Jewish panel? Where's the Jewish panel? Where at the top it says Jewish. It's a tier list based on Arab to Jew.
Yeah, it's like goes to Jew to Goyim or something like that, right? Or like white to black, or like, you know, like any other variation of this would immediately look awful.
Arab, which is good. That's the best thing you can be on this. That's the best. This is this is racist.
I will say that conveying information through a tier list is not the most effective thing, but Ethan should understand.
Why are you doing gymnastics? Why can't everybody just acknowledge that this was inappropriate? It was inappropriate. Like, that's all. Like, it's not... I feel like I'm not asking for the world here, am I?
In this principle, he did a white slurs tier list with Hassan.
Cracker.
I mean, you know what my take is.
Yeah. We can't put this as an F. Cracker. I mean, that's got to be at least a D, right?
I don't have a problem with this. I think that the problem is they did it at TwitchCon. I don't care if they do this. I would love to do a racial slur tier list. It'd be hilarious. But you just can't do it at a corporate event. I mean, like, I don't like, why is this? What's wrong with people nowadays?
Face motherfucker.
Pale face. I mean, again, I think that's an F. Hog.
So Hog is my favorite. I use it all the time.
Him and Hassan feel as though they're white guys, so they felt very comfortable talking about white slurs on their tier list.
I think I'm more white than you. What do you think?
I think I'm white. Like, I'm super white.
Can you understand why Arabs might feel comfortable talking about Arab shit on their tier list, Ethan? You're the white guy.
The problem, and this is always the unspoken reality, is that if you're going to do any sort of racial content, you either have to make fun of everybody equally, or you have to make fun of the group that you're a part of. That is the unspoken rule in comedy and racial commentary.
You think you're more white than Hassan.
I think I'm more white than you.
So, yeah, the white guy can say all the things that he wants, like Cracker, but the Arabs can't have their tier list.
I would put him also an Arab. I know Turkish people are different.
Notice how they dropped the premise almost immediately that it's about who can say Habibi. And then it's like, Hassan, okay, actually, he's Arab. We fucking love him. He's dope. He's Arab.
Habibi is an Arabic word. That is an Arabic word, Ethan.
Funny about this whole thing is that they say Habibi in Israel. Again, people underestimate just how like mixed Israeli culture is. Like,
we say Habibi in Israel. Yes, Ethan. Another piece of evidence as to why it isn't anti-Semitic.
This is racist.
I don't know why, and this is, again, I feel like this is gymnastics. It's very clear that that tier list was structured in a way that it was the people that were unfavorably seen were at the bottom, and the people that were favorably seen were at the top. It was absolutely coded in that way. What are we doing? Like, why are we doing this, like, this weird song and dance to deny this obvious fact? Who cares? Well, I do, because I'm getting lied to and I'm being told that what's in plain sight I can't see. And I find that to be disrespectful and annoying. It's annoying for me to have that happen. Like, that's the reason. Like, it's gaslighting. Yes, exactly. That's like it's the word sabra. It's like saying fried chicken and watermelon enjoyer. Yeah, exactly. Like, there are tons of ways that you can say things that are racially coded without using a slur. There's a million ways of saying it. Absolutely. Like, you know, mayonnaise is spicy, level of white people, right? Or something like that. Like, sure. Like, what? It's just, I don't know. As a distinguished racist and a traveler on the internet of the last 25 years, I find this discourse to be just so dishonest and unfair. A professor of race. Yes, I'm a tenured professor of racism. This is outrageous that we're even having this conversation. That's not a flex. It's a fact.
If you're not Arab or understand Arab culture at all, which is a lot of Americans, and Ethan Klein presents you this tier list and calls it anti-Semitic, you're just going to eat it up. It's not. Ethan is just proving his location on this tier list under Love Sabra because he doesn't understand Arab culture. There's a lot of Arabs who eat Sabra. There's a lot of people like me who eat Sabra. A lot of the times it's all that's in the store, and I'm gonna buy it and I'm gonna eat it, but it is not the good shit. Like, the average Arab American, they're gonna go in the store and the only option they have is fucking Sabra. And that sucks that that's the only option, right? Arab communities and distribution facilities are not widespread across the US. So what are they left with? They're left with a common, relatable, shitty hummus, which is Sabra. And what's so fucking pathetic about this whole thing is after he was able to get these Arab creators banned off of Twitch for 30 days, he goes on to talk about how bad Sabra hummus is on his show.
I don't think anybody wants to.
Wouldn't that make sense? Because if these are the people that are, if you love the shitty thing, wouldn't that be something that's a negative?
Prefers Sabra over homemade, like, restaurant quality hummus. You know, it's what's there.
Like weirdly fluffy.
Like, it is
Sabra.
fluffy.
Weird.
Yeah.
I would buy it sometimes and eat it. It's not the best,
The problem is with Sabra, in my opinion, it's only good for the first 2 days.
For some reason, like when you eat this Sabra shit, it just feels so much heavier. Imagine eating a whole fucking vat of Sabra. That's crazy.
Yeah. I've never liked hummus.
Oh, okay.
Well, you hate Jews then.
I've never had it.
Yeah.
This is racist.
Yeah, it's almost like you can have a discussion about Sabra hummus being a bad hummus without it being at all related to a Jewish thing or an Israeli thing. He can have that discussion as much as he wants on his podcast because we all know his intentions aren't anti-Semitic.
This is what he did. He hit his heart hard.
The Zionism is leading to...
So there's the implication that he's a Nazi? Like, I don't understand this. Everybody knows that Ethan isn't a Nazi. Why are we even trying to do this? What is this? What is going on? This is just ridiculous. Like, why... This is just so stupid. Like, everything about this is so stupid.
To not accepting other cultures, embracing their own culture, and instead thinking that that is an attack on you. There's this incident on the podcast where they were reacting to Cutie Cinderella, and Ethan was laughing during it. So that ended up being a pretty important wake-up call for Ethan. He made an apology video directed at Cutie Cinderella.
Yeah, he was an asshole for
and
that.
it was graded by a professional psychologist, Dr. Kirk Honda of Psychology in Seattle. And Ethan got an A+ rating.
In terms of a public apology, this is A+.
Ethan won't stop talking about his A+ rating.
You know he rated my apology to Cutie Cinderella a perfect score? A perfect 10.
A perfect 10 out of 10?
Literally 10 out of 10. Go back. I can teach you how to make a good apology. I'm the best at
10 out of 10.
I know what a perfect apology is, lady. You fucking don't. Is my perfect apology in this PowerPoint? Dude, I got a perfect 10 out of 10. This one is actually best apology, so. Ethan Klein, you guys, oh my God.
I was trying really hard to think about an
It's just joking around, right? I mean,
impactful moment during this video. Like, could I do something that would really wake Ethan up? And I don't know if this came from a good place or not, but I came up with the idea of getting Ethan's grade changed from an A to a B at least. So I went to visit Psychology in Seattle. I'm not confident that Kirk will change his grade, but it's worth trying. And, you know, we might learn a thing or two.
Xander!
Probably get pretty low marks. Unlike me, perfect score, 10. I said, hey, Lud, no wig drama. Why are you such a spineless coward of a person now that you've inserted yourself and your girlfriend into this conversation?
Okay, iDubbbz, I hear you. You're in the room with me right now. I hear you. I hear your request. I understand it. I can understand where it's coming from. And I guess have a policy that when there is a grade for an apology, I am just grading that discrete apology as I see it without taking any consideration of prior or future behavior. If you're wanting me to comment on the overall behavior or the recent behavior from the clips that you have shown me, I believe that Ethan is a good person and that eventually he will feel sorrow and will feel sorry and will apologize, and I will be there to evaluate that apology when it happens, which I know it will.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Unfortunately, Kirk did not change his grade, but that's okay because this is the internet. Anyone can have their own official apology rating system, so I'm going to rate Ethan's apology a B-. That's just based on my own feelings and my own rubric. When Psychology in Seattle was watching these video clips of Ethan, he said that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug. Now, of course, it kind of pisses me off to hear that shit because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. I think something that's very important to me in bringing back Content Cop is to be fair. I think that was something that was not illustrated in previous Content Cops that I think should have been and probably wouldn't have left me with so much regret. Ethan deserves all of the criticism that he's getting. I think it's very valid. But I also think at the end of the day, we should acknowledge that he's human because he is human. And he is in a situation that's making him extremely scared, paranoid, defensive, sensitive, and I'm sure other features and feelings. In the spirit of Kirk saying that it looks like Ethan could just use a hug, I have challenged some of his most powerful haters to put down the haterade and just say something nice and charitable about him, because I think he deserves it.
I just wanted to say that I respect that you are genuinely yourself on the internet. I think a lot of other people respect you for it as well. I think that's a big reason why people were drawn to your content in the first place. I think that's a lot of the reason why your employees chose to work with you over anyone else.
Ethan, I think it's respectable that you even began this journey to leave behind the anti-SJW crowd and step into a more empathetic worldview. I know it's not easy.
Ethan Klein, I think that when you are being goofy, when you're being silly, when you are being lighthearted, and just having fun with your friends, I think that is when you're at your best. So I'd love to see more of that. That'd be sick.
I will be reading my letter off because I don't want to sound robotic. HJ used to be the sports for good that I used to watch. I hope that one day gets back to what I remember. You were one of the inspirations for me to start creating content, so all this has stung. I hope you really hear this, and I wish you the best.
I think Ethan Klein rocks a buzz cut pretty good, and I think he's got a good choice of facial hair. I think it's really cool what he did 8 years ago, fighting that frivolous lawsuit. Yeah. That was pretty fucked up, and fighting it, you know, he changed YouTube for the better. And I thought that was cool because I thought it was like he was fighting for free speech.
You know, I also see the dynamic of Ethan and Neil. I'm like, fuck, like, it's really hard to be a couple online and see people attacking your partner, and it's like, okay, like, if you come to their defense, if that doesn't always help them, right? Sometimes that makes it worse for them.
And I have been kind of slipping into a very unhealthy place.
Isn't there somebody they forgot?
Where it's gotten worse and worse, and I get criticized more and more, and I get more defensive and more holed up, a feeling of almost infallibility, that I could take anything on. It led me to make a lot of mistakes, and then when I was criticized for those mistakes, then I would act extremely defensive and nasty and not really processing them in a healthy way.
Oh, shit. Oh, man. I think like 20% of this video was really good, and I think 80% of it wasn't. I think that really this video would have been a lot better if you didn't have... I think that he really, like, Ethan really poisoned the well with, like, this kind of stuff, right? Where is it? Oops, sorry. No! Ethan really kind of poisoned the well with this kind of stuff here. And I feel like at the very beginning, like, he didn't need to align himself... Or, sorry, Ian. Look, why the fuck is it Ethan and Ian? Can't they have better names? Yeah, Ian, excuse me. Ian really poisoned the well with the video because he's taking the side of people that are, you know, in a lot of cases, negatively seen online. And I think especially with Denims and Frogan, like Sean's kind of like a smaller content creator. Not a lot of people know about him, and there hasn't been as much drama about him. And like Hassan has a big fan base too. But like the reality is that, I mean, when you don't need to align, and I saw this with like his video, I'll link the video too. Like, thanks to these creators who helped put this together, right? And like you have like basically a shout out to all these other people. I feel like you did a pretty big disservice to yourself by kind of coding your video in being favorable towards them. And I think that wasn't really necessary, right? There's the video. I don't think that was really that necessary. And I think that it actually served to weaken the argument of the video. Because basically, like, you're taking on like you're taking a side of like, you know, Denims or Frogan or Hassan, who all have like their own independent personal problems and dramas and hate watchers and everything. Whereas if you want to make a content cop about Ethan, even like, and what's ironic about it is like none of this is even related. Like he talks a little bit about Hassan and Ethan's relationship, but like Frogan is like in this video for like 5 seconds. Denims is like barely in the video. Sean, I don't think is in the video at all. So it's like bringing these people in and like having them be part of it. It just felt like it was like a Ian trying to assert that now I'm part of this new group and they accept me and I'm totally on board with them, etc. And I don't really think that it was an unforced error. It wasn't necessary to do that. I think that you could have cut a lot of that out and you could have reframed it in a different way. Like, I think that really if you took out like probably like 25 to 20 minutes of this video, I think it would have been a lot sharper and a lot cleaner than it is. And like like the first half of the video, I think also was like really kind of like frustrating for me because it feels like this is like all like very personal, private, like involved, like nuanced, like argumentation between like, you know, Ethan Klein following other people on Twitter, like, and like saying these things and like about, oh, you said you'd defend me or not defend me on the internet. Like ultimately, like this isn't really a content cop. This is just your opinion and like your drama with Ethan, really. I mean, I don't really have like a clever, you know, like thing for like content therapy like XQC. I just feel like this should have been a DM conversation. This should have been like a private conversation. And I don't like, because the reason why content cops in the past were really good is because they took on a person's foundational, like what they're doing. So like, for example, I think the criticism for Ethan using demon mode as an excuse for, you know, being hostile or rude or disrespectful, I think is fair. And using the button and like how the button infantilizes him, etc., I think that's fair. Like, because that's actual criticism of his content. Like, whether you agree with it or not, this is criticism of content, right? But like, it's not even about content. Like, this is about the personal relationship that iDubbbz and Anissa had with Ethan and Gila, right? And I feel like that was the first entire half of the video, was just the nuances, the specifics, and the, you know, complexities of their relationship. You know, like, and that's really what it comes down to. And I know Ethan's is reacting live, H3 fan for years. Well, I don't know if Ethan's watching or not. I don't know if he's live. I have no idea. Like, I think that, and some of the things, like, as I said, I feel like Ethan, like I think this is the same thing like with Boogie, and I think that there's probably another content creator I can think of too, is that like streaming and live streaming like definitely changes the way that people see you a lot. And I think it's a really different dynamic. Like, you think about how many gamer moments like Hassan has had, or like I've had, where like we've said things that we shouldn't have said or did things that we shouldn't have done. And like, I think that, again, like, because we both kind of came into live streaming as like kind of a little bit like small fish, right? Like, I mean, I had 1,000 viewers on my second stream, right? I'm not trying to like ego anybody, but like I'm saying, like I was, but Hassan already had a fan base built on Instagram and from like you know, the Young Turks as well, right? So like we both kind of had fan bases that we took into live streaming, but like, you know, live streaming kind of grew with us. And so like a lot of our fuck ups and mistakes were either when we were a lot less popular, or, you know, we kind of got through that phase when it didn't matter as much. But now you have like a big creator like Ethan. When he started live streaming, he was already like, you know, one of the biggest guys on the internet. And so when you're live streaming and you're doing that, it's really hard to do that in a way that isn't either boring or problematic. And I think that like in the same way that Boogie started getting a lot of hate because of the way that he was live streaming and the way that he was saying things, I think also Ethan had the same thing happen. And if Boogie and Ethan had never live streamed ever once in their life, I think that they both would be better off because of it. That's my honest opinion about it. I don't want to shit on Ian. Like, I actually like Ian. Like, that's the truth. I do like Ian. I do feel like this video took a number of like kind of cheap shots, and I think it misrepresented a number of things. But I think that there were also some fair levels of criticism too. And no, I mean, this is just my opinion, right? I've talked to him personally. I've had him on my podcast. Like the different no, and you guys need to understand. Like when I say I talk to somebody or I like somebody, like I don't know. I don't think it's really like that big of a deal. It's just not a big deal like to me at all. Like I don't know. I don't take it like I don't take this shit very seriously. I get along with pretty much everybody. Like really, it's just like parasocials. Like I met the guy, I talked to him, he seemed fine, and that was about it. Like I remember I said the same thing about Frogan. Like I mean, am I supposed to pretend like I had a bad experience with a person in real life just to make the internet happy because of a parasocial expectation that they have? That's disgusting and weird. No, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? What about Destiny? I remember I met Destiny at TwitchCon in 2019. I gave him a hug. Like I've never had any bad personal experiences with Destiny, or for that matter with Hassan either. I've never had any bad issues with any of these guys. So about Poke, same thing with Poke. I've hung out with Poke multiple times in real life, like not just us, but like, you know, whenever we were in a group event together, etc. Ethan, yeah, I haven't had problems with, like, I don't know, maybe it's weird for me. Like, I don't have problems with people. Like, just in a general sense, I don't create problems with people. I don't create like hostility towards people. Like, I just don't like, I don't know, like, what the fuck? Like, why would I do that? Don't they insult you? No, people don't act that way in real life. No, of course not. They're going to act different. And yeah, I don't understand that at all. But anyway, if I'd have racial slurs again, would your opinion of them go up? It depends on the slur, honestly, right? I mean, it really does. Doesn't your stance of their online stance make it even, doesn't that make their online stance of you lately even more weird? Not really. I mean, like, I think streaming is like this is the reality, is that I think live streaming is an incredibly malignant mental state to be in. It's like corrosive, malignant, negative, and just bad. And so there's a lot of people that live stream all the time. Why are you separating IRL with online? Well, because people act different in real life versus online. That's just the truth. That's the reality. You might not want to hear that, but as somebody who's interacted with a lot of people that they've met online, like, that's just the truth. And so, anyway, obviously, right? And so, streamers are fake online? Well, everybody's fake. Everybody's fake. Like, usually in general, right? It's like, how many times have you had, you know, you were really mad at your boss, or you were mad at somebody at work or something like that, and then the next day you go to work and things are fine, right? You can get along. But I think that live streaming is that, like, I'm just, look, I try my best with every single one of these videos to see people's side of things, to listen to what they're trying to say, and to just approach this in a way that's as honest and fair as possible. And so if people think that I'm not doing that, that's fine. But like, all I'm doing is talking about like my personal experiences that I've had with people. And I know how live streaming is. And I think that also, like, a lot of people get negatively affected by it in a big way. And so, like, and also, like, here's another big factor. And this is going to sound like this probably is a little bit of an ego thing, but it's the truth. The reason why I don't take people's, like taking shots at me seriously is because they always miss. They always miss. None of what they say matters. Like, nobody cares what they're saying. Like, it doesn't affect me at all. Like, I'm still me and they're still them at the end of the day. So, like, they can chirp and cry and bitch all they want, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to go live the next day and be massively successful. Millions of people watch my videos every single day. So how am I really going to get my feelings hurt or upset about what people are saying about me when it doesn't even matter? I mean, fuck. Like, people, yeah, they're shooting blanks. Like, it's the same with even Elon Musk. Like, that bullshit with, like, the ads. Like, why would I take that personally? It's not going to affect me. It doesn't matter at all. Like, yeah. And like, it's not really an ego thing in a way. It's just that I know that I'm on the right path, and it doesn't offend me if people think that I'm not, because they just don't realize it yet. And so that's really all there is to it. And that's the real reason why I don't get upset about people talking shit about me, is because they don't fucking matter. That's the truth. They don't fucking matter. It doesn't make a difference. It doesn't have anything to do with me. Doesn't fucking have anything. Like, so yeah, of course. Why am I going to get mad? I think you're annoyingly fair. That's why I like watching you. The reason why I'm annoyingly fair is because things that people say don't emotionally affect me hardly at all. And in cases where they do, I feel like my decision-making is compromised and I'm in a worse position. So I try to never put myself in a position where I make a decision when I'm in any level of an emotional state. Annoyingly fair. Yeah, like that's the reason why.